Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Dirty and Driven Podcast. My name is James Devaney. I am your host. If you're new here, this is the show where we bring people to the blue-collar world, teach them how to kick ass. Our goal here is to gain, train, and retain people in the blue-collar world. How do we do that? We showcase the real people in this industry. We show what this industry is truly made of. We show what kind of a community it is, and we show what kind of fun we can have doing it. Today, I'm joined by three special guests. Some of you may know them from the online Instagrams. Some of you may not know them. If you don't know them, you'll get to know them today, unfortunately. Because I said, boys, let's do this. I'm desperate. I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel. So we rallied the team. And by the bottom of the barrel, I mean we've just got the absolute bottom feeders of this industry on this podcast today. Today I'm joined by Zach Taylor, Erik Struebig, and Mr. Bryan Smallsy. The John Daly of the Dirty and Driven Podcast is what we call him. And we just have fun, man. There's a little bit of value in this episode. We talk about some real shit. We talk about real stuff in this industry. We talk about real solutions. But we also just have fun. We laugh. Hopefully you'll laugh too. If you haven't listened to the first Bottom of the Barrel episode, I would recommend checking that one out. But if not, this one's great too. If you like the show, give us a 5-star review. If you laughed, which I'm sure you will, if you got some sort of value out of it, which I'm sure you might, or if you just enjoyed listening to it, be sure to give us a 5-star review. Also, if you have a heart, if you like the show, if you want to support the Dirty and Driven Project and help us just get better equipment, better production, better value, better guests, put some money in the tip jar if you don't mind. $1, $2, $5, $10. Every little bit helps us grow this project and helps us make a positive impact on the industry. So anyways, guys, without further ado, here is a couple hours to waste your time. Zach said that he was updating Chrome before he hopped on here, but I think he was really just repping out some push-ups for the camera.
I needed to get like 10 more in.
That's code for doing a bunch of curls and push-ups.
He needed to get 10 more in. It took him about 15 minutes.
Can't be winning on the podcast, baby.
Yeah. I know. You're going to get them reps up.
Come on, Trap City.
We haven't even started this show yet, and I already regret this, but it's going to be a hell of a time.
So what? We got Goldilocks, Stripperilla, and Trap Lord, or what? Trap Queen?
Trap Star. Trap Queen.
So what does that make Erik?
Both of those.
I feel like I'm just like Alan from The Hangover. Like, I'm just happy to be here.
What's funny is a bunch of Zach's biggest fans seem to react the hardest to some of my stories lately.
We're bringing that up? Okay. I see where we're at.
We're starting with violence.
This time I'd like to give a shout out too.
I took him. That was so lightly worded. No, I'm just gonna say that's how I measured how great it really was. Anyway.
Well, the moment that everybody's been waiting for, and unfortunately, the end of James' illustrious career is about to happen.
Yeah. I'm about to make even less money on this podcast than I ever have.
Money, ain't nobody gonna sponsor you now.
It's all right. I got Critical Pat sending me a sponsorship here pretty soon.
We'll all throw some money in the tip jar after this just to keep them going.
I mean, it's all about perspective. Just use us as leverage. Be like, I'll never let these guys on here again if you sign me.
Listen, I need some financial support, and this is the production that I come up with. I have to scrape the very bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, this is the bottom of the barrel. You know, it's convenient that you guys hit me up and said, let's do another show, because I realized I didn't have a guest this week, and I was like, well, why not just have three of the most mentally challenged people in the industry? Come on.
Yeah. When it rains, it pours, buddy.
Yeah.
Careful what you wish for, asshole.
As with last time we had an episode like this, you will probably gain no value and hopefully laugh some.
I got one.
You have officially reached rock bottom's basement.
Yes. We scraped the bottom of the barrel and it actually rusted through, and we went whatever was under that.
We are the grade beam and pier structural force in the rock bottom space.
The deteriorated grade beam and pier.
But the one done by the guy who was the cheapest.
We're that Class C material you're absolutely not allowed to slope or bank.
That's solid 20% organic.
This is like when you find a mechanic on Wish.com. This is the podcast you find with it.
Exactly.
This is authentic, though. Bryan's straight off of work, already drinking. Eric's in a service truck driving down the road, hands free, of course.
Naturally.
And Zach is shirtless on Tuesday.
Every time.
Which means he just got off a Match.com live date.
No, I was doing.
Did you even work today?
I mean, you could call it that. I did a little bit. I had to dig over a gas line again.
Zach showed up to the job site and was like, I got to take a selfie, and I'm out.
Yeah, here's a picture for evidence that I worked.
Yeah, hey, somebody show me
see the TikTok
utility real quick.
I came with my own broken piece of conduit. Throw this in the hole for me. All right, I'll catch you guys later.
That's awesome.
I want you guys to sit here and stew about this.
Fucking Cat 5 wires down there. He's like, oh no, my day's done.
Oh, that's awesome.
You'll like the TikTok I just posted.
What was your TikTok?
Oh,
Go
God,
look.
have me on my phone. I'm such a groupie.
All right, I'm pulling it up here.
I don't have to.
This is great radio, me watching your TikTok.
That's how you know you love us.
When you show up for the photographer after sleeping in your truck for night shifts in a row. For the viewers.
Hey, Timmy had the best one for that when he was like, "Ooh, look at Coors Light." Did you see Timmy's fucking meme for you, Zach?
No, I don't think I did.
It was you posted that, and he whited all this other shit out and was like, "Ooh, look, a Coors Light."
Oh yeah, I did see that.
I hit it back. I was like, "You're a fucking fool." That shit was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. He did send me that. Now I remember. So, how's everybody doing?
Bored as fuck. I got 6 jobs under contract, and we can't do shit at any of them. Shit,
Why?
Why?
permits, delays, people in the way, just not ready. So you know what's going to happen.
But they all want you there next week.
That's exactly what the fuck's going to happen.
Okay, so what's up with your 6 jobs that are under contract, but you can't do shit?
Nothing. And we've had spontaneous rain at the worst fucking times. Concrete crews in the way, framing crews in the way. You know, and what's crazy about this is about 2 months ago, as I'm accepting some of these contracts, some of them, you know, I bid, some of them just kind of came our way via, you know, desperation and necessity. And all of a sudden, so I take all this work, and my dad's kind of like my guy, you know what I mean? Like, he's been doing this fucking 50 years in one capacity or another. So I call him, and he's just like, you'll figure it out. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I will. They're just going to have to deal with it. You know, like I had all rocked
Thanks, Dad.
myself into this, right? Yeah. No. No. That's not how this shit's going.
You'll figure it out.
Nothing happens on my schedule. I get blamed for it, and then I get expected to fucking make up for it.
You know, I had that same situation happen today. A general contractor hit us up and said last week, and they said, we're going to be ready for you here tomorrow to start laying rock down. And it's like 3,000 tons of ag base that's going down. And we go there last Thursday, and there's utility lines dug up just all over the job site. And we're like, y'all ain't even close. And they're like, no, we'll be ready for you by next Wednesday. So we go out there today, and it looked no different. And they're like, nah, we'll be ready for you tomorrow. And I'm like, how? So
show me.
Yeah. You want to hear a crazy story? This is true. This morning, I shit you not. This is as true as it fucking gets. It's 6:30. We all fire drill to a job site to pick up a mini, a plate compactor, some buckets. We're going up to do some slab prep on a job that's like 45, 50 minutes away. Everybody starts heading up there. I text the GC the day before saying, are you pouring today? Like, are you ready? You know, let's get this thing backfilled and get moving. Didn't hear from him. Just figured he was busy, whatever. This morning at 7:30, my foreman calls me up and says, hey, I didn't call you yesterday because he got in a fight with the engineer. Oh, I fucking shouldn't have said his name. Beat that shit out. Shouldn't have called you yesterday because he got in a fight with the engineer, got all pissed off and threw his phone across the job site, and it broke, so he couldn't fucking call you. But we're not going to be ready for another week. And the entire crew, like 70% of the company, is mobbing up there to get this work done. And I wasn't even told until 7:40 that they weren't ready for us because somebody broke their phone and got in a fight with the engineer. Dude, there's something.
Don't worry.
There's something.
It'll still be the site guy's fault.
Dude, somehow, and my stupid ass 3 days ago hits the project manager up and goes, hey, we're going to knock this out for you in the next few days. Can I bill for it this month? And he goes, yeah, sure.
Oh,
well.
So
free money
for it.
Well, in all reality, I'll fucking still get it done before I get paid. That's just the bullshit that we deal with, you know.
That's the hard part about working for like a GC and like what kind of project is it? Like real estate development or what?
Mine?
Yeah.
They're all commercial site development. So we deal with like 1 to 2 acre like building shells. You know, we'll do like a 5 to 10 to 15,000 square foot, you know, shell. So we'll come in and we'll do all the overlap grading, all the foundation, any overX, fine grading for flat work, along with utilities if I bid it. A lot of times, some municipalities around here I just don't fuck with.
Oh, I gotcha.
They're paying my
So you're building a Starbucks, and you're responsible for pumpkin spice season starting in August.
Hey, funny story on that, dude. I was actually public enemy number one a couple of years ago because we got a Starbucks here, like I think 2-3 years ago, and there for a while I was the holdup as to us getting about a 6-month delay on a Starbucks because they didn't like my price. And
for paving,
so I was.
Oh, you guys are.
I was.
This black.
So every basic white bitch in a black North Face and Ugg boots was calling.
Yeah, they were calling me,
asking.
It was funny because people be like, "Well, I heard it's going to open, but I don't know when. I don't know what the holdup is." And I was like, "Yeah, so I actually do know what the holdup is, and I'm really sorry. Sorry that they don't know how to budget."
Sorry.
There was a bunch of sorority girls picketing outside your office. We want our lattes.
James,
the funny thing is
James rolls up and he's like, "Oh, I got that same Carhartt."
I mean, believe me, I'm a
fucking same size and all, baby.
I'm sorry.
No, but I mean, I'm not one that's ashamed to admit that I do enjoy a pumpkin spice latte at least once a year.
Oh, I'm not against pumpkin spice. I just I like it to enjoy it like when my boat's not in use in the water and I'm not enjoying that like bit of a stretch.
So our studio's in downtown and there's literally storefronts that have already painted with like pumpkins and pheasants and just like hay bales and like just very fall themed stuff. I'm like, dude, It is still 100 degrees outside. I ain't worried about no pumpkins.
Oh yeah, Home Depot started putting out Christmas decorations the other day. I about lost it. I walked out.
This is
Ho, ho, ho.
I'm good with the ho ho ho. I'm not good with Christmas trees in August.
This is why we can't self-govern.
Yes. Jesus.
I don't know. Wait, what did Bryan just say?
You're about to get canceled for real.
I just slipped that in there. That was slick as fuck.
You're going to have to go back and catch that in the editing.
Listen, if you ever have the fucking balls to make me live, you're a gangster. Gangster. Make me live, I'll make you famous.
I'll tell you what, one thing that I am planning on doing is getting a subscription community, and I want to do a monthly live call, and that's where we could get Bryan on there live.
Oh God, yeah, I would pay for that subscription.
I just want like people to call in.
What did you say, Erik?
Is this like an OnlyFans, but for like washed up like contractors and mechanics and operators?
Yeah, just fucking drunks and alcoholics.
Sure. This is my jam.
Wait, hold on, I'm getting credit for this, right? In this AA?
I don't think this is one of the 12 steps, Bryan. This is not one of the 12 steps.
No?
Erik, you're sitting here like, finish up with this? What?
Erik, just go pull into a McDonald's and act weird like you always do.
Just pull up and just sit in the parking lot?
Yeah.
No, go inside and order a McMuffin.
No, when Erik talks, everybody has to shut the fuck up. He's the wise one of us.
What?
What Erik was asking was, will you be signing our AA slips as our sponsor after all of this?
It depends on how much money you put in the tip jar.
Fuck your tip.
Oh. Everybody's got a price.
If you enjoy this episode, if you find entertainment, you will find
you
no
probably
value.
won't.
And if you don't, then go fuck yourself.
Yeah, if you don't, then go fuck yourself. If you do enjoy it, you can one, give us a 5-star review on the Apple Podcast, on the Spotify's, and two, you can drop a tip in the tip jar in the bio or the show notes below. So
Zach will be posting his
yeah, we'll put a link to Zach's OnlyFans.
It's like the one job site picture he takes and then pictures of his traps after he does push-ups.
Yeah. He actually uses AI to edit them now, so he doesn't even have to do that many push-ups.
Oh, yeah. The technology is great. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
He'll do AI and it'll come up with like a white chick from Boston. That'll be what the computer thinks he is after he talks.
I just want to know who made that shit on our last podcast.
What?
Who was graphically responsible for those fucking shenanigans? I need to know this. I had a joint with and a cat with me, and golf was on.
Oh, how are your cats?
I have one cat, and he's outside crying like a bitch right now because I won't let him in. And this isn't his time. He got lots of time.
Did you take that much abuse after the last show? You literally had to put your cat outdoors.
You guys have no fucking idea. It was abuse from dudes, and then I get females going, "Oh my god, your cat is so cute." So I'm like, this is why you're single.
Women are like, "Damn, he's got a nice pussy."
Yeah, it's funny. Bryan gets more clout from my podcast than I get from my podcast, and he's been on twice. Like,
that's because nobody can fucking believe that you are this responsible but this irresponsible at the same time. It's the craziest fucking conundrum you'll ever deal with. I am a absolute fucking riot, but I am completely responsible at the same time. It is balanced.
I don't believe that for a second.
Shut up. It's
like some days maybe good, some days maybe shit. You never know.
Some days maybe shit. Some days I send them fucking snaps of me doing shit I shouldn't do, and I'm just like, maybe I'm gonna low key kill myself one of these days. And then other times I'm like, just signed $500,000 worth of contracts, suck my dick, you know. It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. Even today, like all I'm trying to do is put fucking tires on a dump truck, right? All I'm trying to do is put tires on a dump truck. The dump truck gets there, dies, won't start. A wire fell off the back. Nobody could find it. I leave to go get some supplies and some shit. Halfway down the road, the driver calls me back, tells me it's fine. I almost get fucking T-boned trying to turn around in traffic. Like it's just, it's honestly, it's like dating a Latina woman. You know what I mean? You're gonna edit that out.
No, I don't know what you mean.
It is fucking, dude. It is either heaven or hell, and it goes from A to B quick, bro. Owning a business.
That's the most accurate statement that I've heard this whole podcast.
Erik knows.
Speak to it, Erik.
But we're not bringing that up right now. That's a different time and a different
Is
podcast.
it really though? Do you think we're gonna get another one of these?
I mean, I was stupid enough to let you guys all back.
Hit like and subscribe if you want a third episode.
Oh my god! You guys will do one when I fucking die of my heart collapsing, and it'll be like a memoir or some shit like that. James ain't letting us on the radio together again. I can tell you that fucking much.
Dude, what we need to do is a podcast with like Bryan's like top 2-3 hands and just like put Bryan in a corner where he can't talk and just hear their stories of Bryan.
Oh, dude.
The other side of Bryan.
Bro, you're going to hear everything. You're going to hear stories about me getting kicked out of the same bar in Idaho 6 times. But
keep going back.
You're going to hear stories about a Sandy bus, a pen.
No, the bartender loved me, so she kept telling the bar manager to get fucked, right? But I'd go in there and I don't know, fucking 4 or 5 Manhattans later, you know, I was just having a good old time. And it's Idaho, so I love all the people of Idaho a lot. It's a great state, but they can't handle John Daly. And so the bar manager came up and was like, "We need you to tone it down." And so, like, all my guys would look at me, and we'd all kind of look at each other, and I was like, all right, yeah, you're right, you know. And then about 45 minutes later, it'd go by, and I'd be like, I'll just excuse myself from the restaurant. Anyway, what are we talking about?
God, this is a terrible podcast.
This is starting off straight garbage.
So good.
Hot garbage.
You know
Erik, did you say?
You know what this is? This is whenever like you see a really funny movie, like a great movie, and then you try to make a sequel to it, and it just sucks.
It's not as good.
It's
really
like,
a shame that Erik couldn't have been here for the first round. We could relive those stories.
No.
Another perspective on Con Expo.
Already recorded.
I lived those stories in person the first time around. I don't need to relive them for a third time through a podcast. I was there. We checked that box.
He was there. He listened to the podcast. He agrees with everything that was said. Yeah, we need to just get a podcast that's like with Bryan in the corner, and then just like his foreman, an ex-girlfriend,
his mom.
Yeah, just hear 3 totally different perspectives.
Jesus. They had a good name for this. It's called Jerry Springer, you asshole. What are you trying to do with it?
And just put Bryan in like a glass room that he can see, like he can hear us talking, but we can't hear him, and he can't deny or say anything about it.
Well, if his mother's anything like my mother, she's just going to assume that you're an angel. None of this is accurate. You are her little baby. No. You do nothing. You do no wrong.
He's posted too many apology posts about being a shithead to his parents on Instagram.
Dude, my fucking mother is
a saint.
Sweetest fucking woman alive. My father
Whose phone keeps going off? Turn that shit on silent, Bryan.
Is another breed, right? So I had that fucking real yin and the yang. Like I got consoled and told it was going to be okay and made feel good, and then I also got my fucking ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like one of those almost perfect childhood. So yeah, I don't know.
See, I was adopted, so I have my dad's side of the family who's uber religious. My grandfather was a pastor. My mom met my dad at the church that they went to growing up in this podunk town up Maine. And then they chose adoption, and they got me.
Boy, did they pick the short straw.
I remind them many times that they paid for me, quite literally, like cold hard cash. You bought this, every single part of it. Bryan can't breathe right now. He's laughing so hard.
So, like, here's my question, right, with adoption, right? Like, you pay for the kid because it's not free. So, like, if you buy a baby,
Yes.
well, are you purchasing, like, I mean, think about it, right? Like,
Fuck everything I've ever fucking said. Fuck all of you. That's it. That's it.
That one is not making the final cut.
Jesus Christ, Eric. God damn.
I'm trying to feel alone. I'm going to throw something out there offhand. All right, well, we'll cut that out. Or leave it in. Spicy.
Spicy.
I've always said this is a no filter show, but I think I just may have found the filter.
You
reached rock bottom space.
All James can think about is how much editing he's gonna have to do to even make this fucking arable. He's like, God.
I'd like to point out that the one thing that's going to get filtered is the guy that has only chimed in on unmute and mute.
Well, hey, don't feel attacked. We appreciated your last contribution. It was fucking epic. And we encourage all future contributions to be just as so. Okay?
I'm just waiting for like the screen to go connection lost, and then we never hear from James again.
Eric's going to get on something very profound, because Erik is very good at just getting on some very profound topics on this pod. He's going to start speaking very profoundly on a very serious topic, and then he's just going to connection lost.
I mean, you did have a really good podcast. I did listen to Eric's podcast on the mental health and the balance of everything that we do, and that was some quality content.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry to see the show's taking such a downhill turn.
Well,
management sucks.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that one. Management could be much better.
You're about to lose more market stock than Bud Light.
Can't lose what you never had.
Hey, man, you fucking go for broke.
Well, it's funny because
you know what I mean. Let's fucking go for broke.
You got your Tuesday podcast. Where it's you and Casey D.
Yeah,
and then you have some decent contributors like Erik individually, and some of the other people you've had on recently that I can't remember because I only listened to 3/4 of it. And then, you loop back to us, and that's kind of like, when you are a beer company that puts out a bad marketing campaign and 50% of your shareholder goes out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's almost like we're fucking extorting him or something. Like, everybody's trying to figure out why we keep getting on this motherfucker. It's a small threat.
We have got some compromising photos of James.
Sorry.
That we keep getting put on the internet.
Picture of James in his lavender jacket with his I Heart Hot Mom shirt from a Taylor Swift concert, and just post that with John Daly in the background, shirtless Zach.
There we go. That'll work.
Anyway,
like 2 bears and a bottom walk into a bar or something like that.
2 bears in a bottom.
That's not funny.
I was going to say, I mean, we could turn this around and pick up where Erik left off because that was a pretty good podcast. But not to be the,
Oh, well, I was just about to add. Bryan hit me up in the DMs a couple weeks ago, and I was going to say, let's actually add a little bit of value to this.
Yeah,
He hit me up in the DMs.
Can I get some credit despite the debauchery, please? Thank you.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Proceed.
So a couple weeks ago in the DMs, what'd you say you were partnering with like the corrections facility or something like that?
Hold on. Let's not go putting this shit somewhere it ain't. It's something I've had some conversations and some emails. So the Colorado Department of Corrections ran a heavy equipment program out of a couple of different facilities. And some of those guys absolutely took to it. Everybody that's fucking been around me knows how I am. I call us shit like silverbacks and chest beaters. Nobody's hanging off none of the kids walking home, walking past your job site are hanging off the fence watching the drywallers.
Yeah.
They're not watching the siding guys. They don't give a fuck what the roofers are doing. It's what we're doing, right? So we have that opportunity to really capture their attention. Well, so some of these guys really took to that, the bravado. There's something beautiful, there's something powerful about making a big machine do what the fuck you want it to do. And those of us who are really good at it and make it look good and, all the rest of it, there's something, it's artistic, at least to me. If you want to see my other side, this is real shit to me. And a lot of the guys who I've had recently apply with me came out of and or had this experience in their resume. And, and I've spoke to this before, but, there's something about hiring somebody who doesn't have anywhere to go but up. And you got to really put it in perspective. But if you're that facilitator, if you're that elevator, for that guy who has nothing but drive, has absolutely no fucking avenue, no resources, no way to get from fucking point A to point B, but you're that dude and you get him there, that's a powerful fucking relationship builder. And some of my guys, I'm going to tell you right now, they bust your shit up in a KFC parking lot for me. And that's just real talk. Because it's one of those things. It depends on how you want to run your company. You want a big corporate and have a bunch of AR shit. You hire and fire based off of scores and bullshit. That's one thing. I want to make sure you're built and bred right. And then I want to make sure your vision and your goals and your aspirations align with the rest of ours. Because the reality of this is your skills, bro, if you can't get along with my crew for 40 hours, I don't care how fucking skilled you are. You're either going to be in the porta potty crying, in your truck driving off. No, this is this construction. We have headsets on all day long. One of our superintendents a week and a half ago asked to borrow one of our headsets for 3 hours.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Erik's back.
I'm back, pendejos.
So I told this super, I'm like, no. And he goes, why? And I said, dude, this is like, honestly, we need to maintain a good relationship. And these are my guys. Like, half the time we're talking shit about you. I swear to God, I said it to his fucking face. And I can tell you who he is, but if he would get on here and be like, yeah, because we were all sitting around having a Coors Light, just bullshitting. And he really wanted, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. Like, I'm not liable for the abuse that my guys are going to dish out on you. Second of all, I don't think you understand, even though we like you, we still fucking need something to talk about. And you're the one sitting in your truck with your AC on for 6 hours, watching us move dirt like we're going to rag on you so hard. And
how'd you know I was on your job site?
You kept flashing your lights, and I'd see you get out and do your little.
Oh, I was sitting there with the strobes on. That's right. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, Zach, you don't hear an echo, do you?
I do not. No.
Okay, perfect. Good. That's good to hear.
Well, to Bryan's point too, so it sounds like they get a program and they're trying to get you to facilitate like an after program career opportunity for them. And when we first did our podcast, James, I remember you asked me, like, what about construction is your favorite, or, whatever the fuck. And I told my story about hitting rock bottom, and just being able to work my way back, because this is really the only industry you can do that. So being able to give these guys a second chance. I mean, let's face it, people fuck up. Some people fuck up more than other people fuck up. Some people are going to go to jail for it. But at the end of the day, if they're what we'll call rehabilitated, in the eyes of the state, they're allowed to go back out to the real world. They need an opportunity, and there's a lot of people that won't give it to them just because of their past. And there's probably a really large untapped labor market of people that either had skills before they got in trouble and fucked up, or are willing to learn whatever because they don't want to be in the position they were just in. So I think that's great.
Or they're just waiting for somebody to set an example.
Well, right. And like you think about them from the perspective of, they are coming from nothing. Like you get out, you have nothing. And, you want to find some guys that are going to be gung-ho and get after it. Like, those are going to be your guys. Cause like they have that, I'm not saying that they're, behind the 8 ball, but coming out of, prison or jail or whatever it is, like, that's a pretty big mark on your life record. So if you can prove that you're a hard worker outside of that, that's what people are going to care about, not your past.
Yeah. Drive.
So
yeah, exactly.
So when those guys come, I mean, how many guys do you currently employ, Bryan?
7, and not including truck drivers.
Okay. How many of those guys?
Asking.
How many of those guys come from that past?
What do you want? Convicted felons?
Yeah, I mean, how many of them have
how many of them have a record?
Yeah, how many of them have a record?
5, I believe.
5 out of 7 of them.
You want to know what the truth is? These dudes have my gas cards. They have my trucks. They have keys to my gates. They have responsibilities and expectations. The difference between a lot of these gentlemen and a lot of the other field, and I'm not saying don't hire people that aren't felons, and everybody's going to get on here and fucking make more out of this, or I really don't give a fuck what you have to say. The truth is if you treat these people and mold them to believe that they have some fundamental integrity, that I got to be honest with you, a lot of the world just fucking loses. There's a loyalty there, but you got to build that relationship. It's just like anything else. Like, my guys know, not one of them. I got a guy that's been on the crew that's been with me 8 years, and I got a guy that's been on there with me 3 months. And you could ask every single fucking one of them. They've never asked me for a raise. Because I don't have to.
They've never asked you for what now?
A raise.
A raise?
Never.
Yeah.
None of them. You don't have to. This is my fucking job. My job is to teach you. My job is to mentor you. My job is to show you. If you want to give me your 40 hours, and I mean by your 40 hours, mean you leave your fucking phone in the truck. Show up. Learn what an invert is. Understand slopes. Understand how to read shit. Like, understand the ins and outs, the rest of this stuff. And if you can get somebody to hang on for 3 to 4 weeks of doing that shit, they're hooked and they want to be somebody else and they get it. I mean, it's just a matter of, you got to find people that fit your mold and then put them through the shit and then see how they handle it. And if they do, then fucking great. Let's go.
So whenever you get these guys, you're saying, you mold them, you teach them the basic fundamentals that, like, hey, you are actually a decent human being. I don't give a shit what society says to you. Do those guys, have they already figured that out when they come to you?
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. This isn't kumbaya. And I don't mean to be rude, but this is just fucking real. We don't talk about that. You want to know what they get? They get what they don't get from anybody else, which is just fucking respect.
Yeah.
Show up, do what I ask you to do. If you do it and you do it to the best of your ability, thank you. I don't give a fuck what your name is. And I hear a lot of this shit about hiring diversity and the rest of the shit. I don't get a lot of purple-haired motherfuckers showing up. But I shit you not. If you shit on my crew, I don't care what the fuck color your hair is. I'll hire you. The problem is that's not what the fuck we see. We either see guys that are at the absolute bottom of the barrel that understand there are very few industries that are forgiving of their mistakes. And I got to be honest with you, somebody who's willing to turn a corner, maybe you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it think. So when that horse gets to its own fucking water, that's some powerful shit. No, this is real. This is real because this is the epitome of what everybody fucking has expectations of, but nobody's willing to be patient of. And that's these guys wanting to be somebody else. We don't set that. What we do is we set an expectation and we have a realization and a goal that they need to reach. And they determine if they're willing to be there or not. But I'm going to tell you right now, some of the shit that they establish in prison and jail, some of the mindset, some of the loyalty, some of the mentality that's in there, far be it for me to be the motherfucker to say it, but we need more of that shit. We need more fucking loyalty. We need more fucking honesty. We need more street justice in this shit. I'm going to tell you right now, I catch you stealing tools, I'm going to knock your shit out. You know, a lot of people don't talk about how everything should go, but we've far become how it was for us way back in the day. It wasn't like this.
But like you said, with with that loyalty and whatever they get from being in jail, you don't have to, really probably don't have to worry about that for them guys.
They're known, they're fingerprinted, they're DNA. I tell them straight up, look, I got cameras in my yard. It ain't for you. It's the potential fucking crackheads. But I tell you what, if I catch you doing some shit, we're going to go straight from friend to unfriendly real fucking quick. And they respect it.
So what are you doing? So, I mean, you're saying, loyalty. You mentioned that. I've heard a lot of business owners say guys don't have loyalty anymore. Nobody has loyalty to a company. What do you do as an owner that keeps your people loyal?
Dude, I'm a leader. I show loyalty. Which I don't show up and ask for it. I give it and expect it in response. And if I don't get it, I don't have to ask or justify why this relationship doesn't work between us. I've given you what I need to give you. If you don't return that in response, and we're talking about loyalty. We're not talking about anything else. I don't know your fucking gas card. I don't know your company truck. But if you're going through some shit, one of my guys, he's a laborer. I'll tell this story. I gotta say his name, but he was going through some shit and he's on his headphone. I hear him on and off on his phone. And he's a young kid. He's related to one of my old foremen, one of my favorite guys, dealing with something with his phone. And we stopped and had lunch at this little sandwich spot that was right across the street. And he was just distraught. I was like, what's up? And he told me, and I was like, bro, I pay you every Friday, you idiot. If you have a $170 bill to pay with T-Mobile that you didn't realize you were coming out, why don't you ask me to pay for it? And I'll take it out of your check. I mean,
it's a little shit like that too. That's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, that's, to me, that was the easiest goddamn shit in the world. This kid's freaking out about this, and this is occupying his mind. He can't contribute to the crew. He can't do his job. He can barely fucking function. I'm not really sure exactly what was going through the phone call with him, but it affected him enough that I was like, what are we dealing with here? Strictly pure problem solving mode. And I'm going, dude, we're talking about $170 that I got to float you for 3 days. Shut up. Paid it and we moved on with life. Like that's the shit my guys expect. And I'm not saying I'm here to clean up your fucking messes. I expect you to be a man. But it's also a way of dealing with these guys. I'm not conventional. This isn't HR. You're not going to show up, go through a bunch of shit, have 3 different interviews. That's not how I'm going to show up, meet you, shake your hand, ask you some questions, put you in your machine, test your abilities, and if it works out and we think we can fuck with each other, then we move forward.
Yeah.
Because you got to fit in.
And that's like the different balance of company cultures too. Like there's something to be said. As I changed jobs throughout my career and worked different places, I worked at small places where, just like Bryan, like if on a Tuesday you're short and you're in some trouble or something came up you didn't expect, I could go to my boss and be like, hey, or guys would go to my boss and be like, hey, I got X problem. Like, can you front me part of my paycheck? Yep, no problem. Take care of it. And then, you get the other people go, if you work at a big corporate company, you probably get some more money and not have that, But it just speaks to the different cultures of different companies. And it's always an interesting conversation to have when you see how people operate different, different styles of business. And like the owner of the company that I work for in the union, I've heard him do that. The owner, Rick, great guy. I've only met him a few times, but I've heard stories about him co-signing for cars for guys that have worked there that went through a divorce and their wife took everything or whatever. And it was a matter of them getting to work. And it was, well, I'm paying you, but if you need the help, like here's some help. And hi, Erik. Pendejo.
Eric's back.
I like when he pops back on the screen. It says actually recording at higher quality. Like, I'm not 100% convinced.
No, it's not.
Who typed in
Yeah,
Eric's
that is a
name?
lot.
Why does it say Darth Gaydar? Sorry.
Here, hold on. All right, don't say anything for like 5 seconds. I gotta pause this thing for a sec. Now, all right, we're recording again. We had to stop for a sec.
Actual recording in higher quality.
No, it's not. This is a very low quality episode. I promise.
Dude, I cannot reproduce. Anyway.
So what were you saying, Brian? That was actually
It's just a matter of, I think our culture as owners is indicative of how we are. Listen, my guys know.
Yeah.
My guys know there's enough fucking capital. Your checks will clear. And I've had them from, I still got guys that have been with me 8.5 years that'll tell you, it doesn't matter what the fuck you need. You know, if your value's there and you put the work in, like, Brian's going to take care of you. You know, we're a family. I got to be honest with you. You know, the real shit of this is I spend more time with these guys than I do my daughter. You know?
single dad life. I get that.
And I can't do this without him. Yeah, I got one fucking ass and 2 hands and 2 feet, so I can run one fucking track load at a time. So I ain't doing none of this shit without him. You know? And if they're those guys that show up every morning at 7:30 and do whatever the fuck you ask just because they want to be those guys that get it done, that's a different breed, bro. And they smell different, and they walk different, and they act different. And I gotta be honest with you, we can big dick this shit all we want, but I got 2 other ones here with me. We do whatever the fuck it takes. I see him. He's got a daughter. And Erik, fuck, I don't know how many goddamn time Erik's called me at the fucking complete wrong hour of the morning because he's out doing some shit that nobody else would fucking do. But guess who they call? They call Erik. But guess what? Erik's got all these other responsibilities, and he's got all this other shit to deal with. But guess what? He's going to be that go-to motherfucker. Zach, shit, he's bringing his little girl to work, bro. You don't think I didn't go through that? You don't think I don't recognize that shit and all the sacrifices and the adjustments and the shit he's making to make all this shit work and be that guy? Bro, I mean, I gotta be honest with you. The people that recognize that shit are the people who have lost that shit, not the people who take all of that for granted. And when I say shit, I just mean those basic responsibilities, those basic achievements in life. Are we paying for our family? Are we providing for our fucking kids? Are we doing our shit? Are we cashing our checks? Do we feel good? Are we feeling accomplished? I talked about it the last time we were out here. It's the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. You know what? Carrot and stick all you fucking want these boys, but if you don't give them attaboys, you're going to fucking lose them. You know? So it's up to us.
Yeah.
It's up to us as managers to do a whole bevy of shit. It's not just company culture, but it's company culture along with communication. And how the fuck do you guys communicate with each other? You want to know what the truth is? Nobody calls me sir in my organization. They call me fucking Bubba. Bubba. Every text you go through my phone, it's hey Bubba. It's Bubba. We all call each other Bubba. It's equalized. You know? And I mean, you gotta. There's a whole different way, and far be it from me. I don't give a fuck who's listening to this and goes, "Oh, that big idiot's a moron." He has no idea. Like, you got to do this and this and this. Kiss my ass. It's working, and I'm killing it. And let me know. You know, it's all a matter of perspective. And who do you want? Who do you want on your team? I don't want somebody on my team that's never been through some shit. You kidding me? Wait till your 210 blows a fucking hose out of the bottom of the fucking turntable. And you got to get underneath there and disconnect that motherfucker, which means you're going to eat about 6 ounces of hydraulic fluid. Who do you want on your team?
Erik, you know anything about eating 6 ounces of hydraulic fluid?
Yeah, you're going to 6 ounces on the low side. Sometimes you get an oil bath. You're real shimmery. You're like a magic unicorn, but yeah.
The best way to train for that is just mix it in with your Monster in the morning.
Hey, you know, I'm
mechanic
on
mimosas
right now, but I'll try hydro, some old Hitachi 46 and Monster, baby.
Oh yeah. Hey, doesn't he
yesterday,
look like the guy from the arm wrestling movie with Sylvester Stallone who drank the fucking motor oil? Can we find that clip? Tell me we can find that clip. Tell me we can find that fucking clip, James.
What's the name of the movie?
We can find that clip.
We can find the clip. He drinks the fucking motor oil. Erik is his fucking son. All right, I'm done. Sorry.
I found a picture.
Show it.
I'm pulling it up. Oh, over the top.
Yes. Okay. The guy that drinks the motor oil. Watch, Zach. You're gonna piss yourself. It looks just.
I'm gonna have to watch. I'm gonna have to watch that
it
after I make my trench safety post for today.
The guy's name is Grizzly.
100%.
The motor oil and starts arm wrestling. It's like a whole bottle.
I'm not talking for the rest of the night.
That was his contribution.
Erik made us TikTok yesterday of the mechanic mimosas or blue collar mimosas, and it's his orange juice and his white monster. But I guess that was a virgin mimosa. The hard ones have motor oil in them.
Oh, you wait till tomorrow. I'll fucking make you one. Motor oil mimosa, baby.
What's tomorrow?
Tasty.
Are we getting drunk tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Wednesday, all day.
Oh, well.
He said it's hump day.
Smalls isn't sure what day it is right now, so
Smalls is
I love how he walked into a different room of his house and just like abandoned the podcast, and he's still just laughing.
Abandoned ship.
He's like, I'm just gonna leave. They'll be here when I get back.
Fuck you guys. Wait.
What is that?
What?
What is that?
Am I in fucking video?
He's just changing in the background.
I got boxers on.
Oh, me too. Mine are American Eagle. American
Eagle.
Hanes.
Yeah.
Dude, you had this in
Hanes
grade?
Extreme Ball
Yes,
Edition.
I am strictly American Eagle boxers. I find something that I like and I stick with it.
You're probably
Very nice.
sponsored by them too. I'm sponsored by Hanes, the Extreme Ball Sweat Edition.
Erik, I wish I could have heard what you said, but you cut out during all of that.
I was gonna say he's American Eagle boxers, but he's Abercrombie and Fitch everywhere else. In case you couldn't tell from his Con Expo looks with that dumb pink.
From my what? Oh, you can't talk shit.
I told you he was going to start getting on something funny, and we just cut
He
out.
was going to talk shit and cut out.
He's
We'll
Abercrombie and Fitch from his.
Bye, Erik.
Oh, nobody's back.
Oh.
I was saying
I'm Abercrombie and Fitch. What?
Abercrombie and Fitch, like your whole Con Expo wardrobe when you wore that pink shirt. You met your dad at that sports bar with fucking Steve. I'll send you that picture. I was like, holy fuck.
That picture. Yeah, so we went out one night, and I was wearing it was actually Ralph Lauren, for those of you taking notes. It was a Ralph Lauren.
For those of you who give a fuck. Sorry, my bad.
So I was in a canary pink Ralph Lauren quarter zip, and we're walking through the Bellagio or wherever the fuck we were, and there was these group of older guys standing there. Guy had the same pink shirt on. We were destroyed, and they just happened to look in our direction. And Erik looked at me and looked at him, and I looked at him. He looked at me, and I said, "Dad." So we took a picture. I think I told him I was adopted too, so he very well could be my dad. Which it was an awkward conversation after that, but.
It ended up with you crying until 4 a.m. in a strip club.
Yeah, in the shower of a strip club, covered in glitter, draped in Ralph Lauren and whatever other designer clothes I brought with me.
Hey, speaking of taking a shower and a nap in the strip club, hey Smalls, so you and Brandon went out.
I forget. What do you want from me?
And we have officially laid the penny on the rail track.
Rights.
Okay. How does this start? You gotta lay the foundation. I'm gonna plead the fifth if you don't lay the foundation. At this point, I feel like
I think
Jog his memory.
You and Brandon went to the strip club, and then you left, and you had your wonderful driver take you to some back alley room.
Didn't we hear this story? It was Shark Week. It was Shark Week. It's
significant.
No, it's a historical event over in Las Vegas. It's called Asian Shark Week, and it's where if you
enter a certain establishment,
if you enter the wrong neighborhood, you might get surrounded by 20 to 30.
Oh yeah. No, you told the story. The cab driver.
You were sitting in a chair, and
Raphael, the best cab driver. He's like, "You like the ladies?" I was like, "Yeah, dumbass. You just picked me up from the fucking Spearmint Rhino. Of course, I like the ladies."
Yeah. No, we got that story. So if you haven't listened to the first one of these episodes, you need to go back and hear about the story of Raphael.
We're not going to go through that again. We're not going to go through that. That's what we should go through. What we should go through is our recent dating history. So how's everybody been doing with the ladies?
Well, I'm still married.
Nobody cares, James. Shut up. I'm talking to Erik.
I gotta go get another beer.
Of course you do.
For those, these are my lovely parents that live with me, who adopted and paid for me.
Howdy.
I don't know if you can hear them laughing through the headphones, but they laughed.
Jesus.
This podcast is fucking derailed.
This is one of the worst podcasts I've ever listened to or been a part of.
What is Bryan ordering dinner?
No, motherfucker.
He's just ripping a dab pen and ordering pizza in the middle of the show.
Give me that meat lovers. Yes, I want the spicy wings.
Do I look amused? Fuck you guys. Shut up.
So what were we talking about?
Okay, so hold the fuck on. No, my truck boss just called me. He interviewed a CDL driver, right? And it was Lexus Garcia, and the whole time, I'm reading the whole shit. I thought it was a dude, bro. It's not a dude. It's a chick.
Ooh, diversity hire. For that, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys.
If Zach makes a diversity comment, it's all right. Erik makes one. We gotta cut it out.
It's not Hard R Friday, Erik. Your comment wasn't accepted.
Oh, sheesh.
Eric's talking about buying slaves.
You know, I was playing. I was planning on posting this one to YouTube, but YouTube might say no.
Man, fuck YouTube.
Yeah.
Fuck YouTube.
Oh, well. People don't need to see our ugly mugs anyways.
Bro, are you kidding me? You can call this Tail Grabbers Part 3.
You could sell this as a calendar.
Yeah.
Second one.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, are you really poking that bear, bro? Is this really what you're doing right now? Are you just poking bears? Is this what
we could do a calendar? I'm down.
Is this what you're doing right now, James? James, you think you're smart?
You know, Alex Stursa does a bikini calendar every year of like girls and service trucks and stuff like that. Yeah. So it could kind of be like that, except it's just you guys and service trucks.
I'm down.
Erik,
it's just Smalls and his little Hitachi.
No, it's just Erik and the hot lizards on his fucking service truck.
I'm just gonna take random pictures of shirtless and random like a cornfield.
Zach could be shirtless in his Mini X from fucking Bobcat.
What a hunk of shit that thing is.
Not a Bobcat Mini X guy, huh?
No.
I went out to a job site and I thought today when I went to my first call that there was a Mini on site. No, It was a 390. It just had a Liebherr 1500 behind it. I was like, okay, so like I was pretty far away from that one. My eyes aren't that great.
Damn. What were you doing?
They didn't have AC working, so I drove out to Deadwood to fix their AC.
Fair enough.
Deadwood? Are you leaving right away, or are you going to fuck around for a while?
No, I already left Deadwood. I'm on my way to Pierre.
Where's Pierre?
It's the capital of South. It's like dead nuts in the middle of South Dakota.
That's the capital of South Dakota's Pierre?
Yeah.
Wow. That shows how little I know about
Pierre is a population of like 14,000 people.
Her name
It's the
Christy-
smallest capital.
Christy Nome? Christy Nome?
What?
What?
What
Oh,
are
the
you
governor of South Dakota?
Fuck me. What?
Isn't she the governor of South Dakota or something?
Dude, she's so hot.
Is that who you're talking about?
Oh, she's so hot. She's so fucking.
And that's Brian's segue into
Brian's like, so anyways, I've been in the DMs of the governor of South Dakota.
Watch me.
I'm now there were 3 blacked out Suburbans in front of my house today. Not sure what that was about. Poor Brian.
Listen, you only live
On a list.
YOLO. I've been on a list.
What list are you on?
Anyway, so what were we?
I'm not sure I want to know.
Brian was on the job.
We were talking about Erik and his dating escapades. How's it going? How's it? Hashtag single life, baby.
I exercise my Fifth Amendment right to not self-incriminate.
I plead the fifth.
You're so
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's one of the best videos ever.
This is my strong hand.
That's a Chappelle quote for anybody who doesn't get it.
Well, all right, Zach, you've added, Brian added some value. Zach, it's your turn.
What would you like to hear about? It's Trench Safety Tuesday. I have to make a post.
Oh, it is Trench Safety Tuesday. Yeah, tell us
is.
Put it on
your
there.
most recent thoughts on trench safety.
Put it on me.
My what?
Tell us your most recent, your most current rant on trench safety.
Rant right now. I'm not real big on dig safe markings, which is not an uncommon issue with our industry because I've found 3 unmarked, very live, very shallow buried gas lines in the last 3 days. So not necessarily trench claps, but more so like understanding the job and having competent ground people, good communication, guys knowing what they're looking for. Because whenever they built this road we're working on, they built it with like 12-inch minus. I got to give it to – I put a story up earlier. Whoever subgraded this thing, like hats off to that fucking old blade hand because the shit that I'm digging out of the ground, you could hatch Tyrannosaurus Rex eggs out of. And they are like graded nice. And so I'm peeling up like 12-inch minus and it's like, surprise, 6-inch poly gas main. I'm like, what the fuck? How did that fucking –
Like,
so that's like – that's – Yep, we're redoing a sidewalk right now. So, like, everything's obviously running through the sidewalk. And they built, like, literally it's like 12-inch minus, a splash of whatever fines, and then they paved over the top of it. And it's graded. It was, pretty good. But once I've ripped everything up and I got to, kind of box cut it out so we can re-gravel everything, I'm just pulling out basketball-sized rocks. And it's like surprise gas line, another surprise gas line. Another surprise gas line. So my current bitch right now is utility markings.
And just the lack of.
The lack of. I mean, I get it. Shit was put in like the 50s and the 60s, and they didn't take good records back then. But I mean, I peeled a rock I peeled a rock off something the other day, and had I gone 3 inches lower, I would have toothed the fucking gas line.
Damn.
Like you have current utilities running through. Like you are feeding these homes.
Yeah, see, that's not trench collapse. That's trench creating.
Yeah, it's trench creating.
A trenching.
Yes, it's a form of trench creation. I got a pretty decent one. Cantwell sent me a bunch of pictures from stuff that he's done lately. They were setting a box culvert. Huh?
The shit by the ocean?
Yeah, he's got the shit by the ocean, and then he was doing a box culvert in the town next to me, and they were setting the boxes with not rotators, but they had the 2 precast trucks come and like tandem set these boxes. They were road plating for like stabilization and some stuff. So he sent me some cool pictures. So that'll be my shit for tonight. Steve Blackburn sent me another meme, so I'll tag that in there. That was good.
Nice. Good deal.
I'd like to think because the internet's made me a meme now, I've made it, but I haven't found a way to monetize this yet.
You're so close.
So close. So close. I don't know what else I can do. I've been posting thirst trap
I know
photos,
what you can do.
OnlyFans quality,
OnlyFans
content that can be shared. Yeah, shirtless photos. Like I'm trying really hard to monetize, but it's just not. It's not there for me. I'm going to have to sell drugs.
Sell drugs or Instagram Reels. You can monetize those.
Yeah, but I haven't. That hasn't really turned out well for me yet. So.
Oh, well, maybe make Reels of you selling drugs.
Yeah, 2 for 1.
Wait, well, hold the fuck on. I mean, I'm not smart, but that's not. Wait, what?
We're not bringing anyone on a drug conversation.
Now Brian's interested. Now we've sparked that.
Listen, I heard drugs about 6 times. You had my attention.
Yeah, Brian all of a sudden hears drugs, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm back."
I was awake. I was awake.
I'm awake.
I'm awake. Anyway.
Well, I did have my nice, thirst trap of an Instagram post where I shouted out you guys. I appreciate, despite being somewhat full of debauchery, the motivation we give each other to do hard things, like your fucking triathlon, you psycho.
Yeah,
but good for you. That was like what spurred you on to that? Like, were you raising money for something, or do you have cancer or something we don't know about, and you're trying to check boxes? Like, what is the deal?
Hashtag
the reason I do
fucking do what?
Brian's in his own world over there.
Drugs.
Yeah. The reason I do all that hard shit, man, is because if I just get on there and I say, hey, blue collar people should really try to prioritize their health and fitness a little bit, most people would go, hey, shut the fuck up. But
easy, skinny.
Yeah, exactly. But if you go out and you do some real extreme shit, some real hard stuff, then people start to say, all right, I'll listen, and then like whenever people do hit you up and they do tag you and they do like, you just say like, hey man, I'm gonna be doing some hard stuff. I'm gonna be sweating. Just do the bare minimum for me. Just do something for me. And then those people will go do that. And we get people sending us pictures and we get people that, like your post that you posted the other day. I mean, like that shit motivates me too. Cause it's like, okay, people are actually paying attention. This is helping. So my goal is just set the example, train hard, train like a fucking savage, and then maybe people will kind of follow in the wake and just say, you know what, dude, I just need to do something. But you don't get people's attention by running a mile every day. I mean, you don't get people's attention from doing the bare minimum yourself. But if you go out and you train hard and you do hard shit, then you get people's attention and they say, all right, maybe I need to do something to get my own life in check. Because I'm just tired of
James.
You got a little.
What, did you lose me?
For the show.
Yeah, you just froze.
I froze?
But, whoa.
Damn.
We really do need to put some money in this dude's tip jar.
Yeah, he's a killer. Fuck.
Huh.
What?
Where did you?
Well, no, it's like an accountability thing. I don't know. We lost you somewhere. You're like, you go out and do hard shit. That was kind of what it sounded like.
It is, but I mean, riding a bike 20 miles, Lance Armstrong, ain't the same as being in a fucking wet ditch laying 6-inch DIP all day. Like, it's all.
Well, it's not, dude.
You get what I'm saying? No, and a lot of it's not always like the actual.
Fuck your triathlon. I laid pipe today.
Yeah. Other than the actual calories burned, it's the mental toughness of being in shit situations, doing things that are no fun. You ever tied a 6-inch sewer line to a 12-inch sewer main?
Yeah, it sucks.
You have?
Yeah,
real shitty,
man.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is you do this hard shit. Now I'm not doing it every day like I used to, but I mean, you do hard shit to train your mind, but you also do hard shit because I see guys that do that every day and they are physically active, but you see guys that are in the ditch every day and you see guys that are, pouring concrete, laying asphalt, moving dirt every day, but they do nothing to take care of themselves. And then by the time that they're 55, 60 years old, they're fucking in and out of a hospital bed. They go. And then all of a sudden, all that shit catches up to them at once and they break down. And now they can't work. Now they can't enjoy life. They've worked all their life just to where they could get a break. And now they have a break, but they can't do anything because they're sicker and shit. So
Well, that was my
why-
point. Like the last time we talked about it, I fucking was getting numbness in my left arm. I was like, what the fuck is this? And
Yeah.
it was just a matter of it was a complete and total lack of exercise and care at all for my physical health. You sit still 10 hours a day and your body stops doing things that it would normally do under normal circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think,
it's
Erik?
important.
What?
I wanted your input, Mr. Powerlifter.
Oh,
What'd you leg press the other day? Fucking 1,500 pounds or something like that?
Like
yeah,
280.
I don't know. Leg press is, I don't know. I think that's just easier than anything, but I don't know. I power lift because it makes my daily shit easier because everything that I work on is fucking heavy. Like the pins that hold the fucking rigging in and the fucking cables, and if I don't do something to help me with that, it just fucking kicks my ass all goddamn day on the job site. And like today I had to pull pins out and they were all stripped out, so I had to use a pipe wrench, but swinging a 48-inch pipe wrench all fucking day is not exactly how I want to, end my fucking lifting career. So if I lift heavy in the gym, it makes my job of moving stuff easier. And it's a good way to kind of unwind at the end of it. That's just a good way to kind of get out any fucking bullshit you have in your system. I don't know. I think I'm going to do a powerlifting meet. We're going to get fucking dirty and driven singlets, nice and tight, nice and orange,
Oh,
some reflective.
I ordered a dirty and driven thong.
If you want to talk
covered in dirt.
If you want to talk about swag, my buddy Gary owns roadplates.com. They obviously they rent and sell plating and trench boxes and shoring over on the South Shore and around Boston. And he has got like the best collection of swag. And he'll post it, like he sends me t-shirts and sweatshirts and you can buy some, normal gear, but he's posted thongs, bikinis, men's shorts, like where they would say juicy, they say road plates. He's got all kinds of So shout out to Gary at Road Plates.
Not a sponsor, but he should be.
Hey, I
Not a
want to.
sponsor,
You
but
remember
you
the
would
pink
love every
panty
bit of
drill?
this.
Zach, do you remember the pink panty drill from basketball? Did you guys ever do that? Where
No, I went to a Christian school, man.
Oh, well, no, but listen. So our coach would shoot.
The priest called us something else.
He'd shoot.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, we weren't Catholic. We were Christian.
Oh, okay.
No, our coach would shoot, and if you were the last one to get a rebound, you had to play the rest of the practice in these oversized pink lace women's panties. No, this is real shit. No,
That is
listen.
That is
Fuck you
hilarious.
guys. Listen, I tell my nephew this shit because he's a hooper. I'm a hooper. My dad was a hooper. My dad was a gangster. You know what I mean? Like, so we kind of judge the shit out of him.
You were genetically predisposed to basketball.
Shut up. Yeah, but my basketball coach was like, "You're built for football, so go fuck yourself." So anyway, hold on. So check this shit out. What the fuck was I talking about?
You were talking about your cousin and your nephew
Your
and
pink
the pink
panties.
panty drill.
Oh yeah. So I go for
Time for some uppers.
for like 2 fucking years. Keep it quiet. For like 2 fucking years, I go watch his games. I'm supportive. I cuss out other dads and shit, like threaten to knock out a few fools. We get a little rowdy. Like some of the shit's in the hood, like the hood. Not like bad neighborhood, like hood.
Now Brian's not allowed to go back to 5th grade basketball games.
Jesus saves in Montbello. Anyway, so check this shit out, right?
You bought a big pair of pink panties and brought him to his basketball practice?
I pulled his coach off to the side. And I said, clearly you struggle with teaching the guys the importance of rebounding because even my punk-ass nephew who shoots the shit out of the ball thinks he's fucking, what's his name from Golden State?
Steph Curry.
Yes, he thinks he's Steph Curry. This fool will shoot a 3-pointer, and the ball ain't even half the way there. It's not even done. It's not even started its descent, and he'll turn around and be running up the court like he knows it's going in. And that just drives me berserk. It just drives me berserk because they're not putting the fucking. These kids just literally get a rebound and turn around. It's a bunch of 3-point shooting. So I said something to his coach. And his coach went to the kids the next game and said, "Hey, check this out. You guys know Nate's uncle?" And they were like, "Fuck." Yeah. And they were like, "Nate's uncle told us about this pink panty drill where I shoot the ball and the last one to get a rebound has to wear the pink panties all practice." Like 70% of these kids threaten to quit. Real talk.
No
You
kidding.
can't do that to kids.
I know you guys were waiting.
Dude,
you guys were waiting for some big punchline, and my sister told me.
I thought there was going to be some big dramatic end to this.
Yeah,
story.
I was really
Man,
hoping
when
you
I was
made-
playing. I played in the Christmas tournament one year, and we were one of the smaller divisions in New Hampshire. And we were playing up a couple divisions. My coach used to coach at big schools, so somehow we got invited to this Christmas tournament. And I forget how the breakdown of the schedule went, but by losing the game we were playing, we were guaranteed 2 more in the losers bracket or whatever it was. And we get matched up against the host team, who was the best team in the state at that time. And my coach was there just for us to get exposure to, bigger, better talent than what we were going to face during the year. So anyway, we're playing, and we've got like 4 minutes left in the game. And me and the other kid on their team are just going back to back. I'm having a game, he's having a game, and it is tied with like 3-4 minutes left. And my coach calls a timeout, subs out the starters, fucking everybody sits. He puts the bench in. We lost by like 15, like instantly. And I was pissed. And I went back to the locker room and didn't shake anybody's hand. And my coach came in after me, and I can still smell what he had for breakfast as a core memory of my youthful development, because that's how he coached.
All
right here, and I am still friends with him. I went to dinner with him back at the beginning of the year, and he told my daughter that story, and we laughed about it now. But I mean, that was the way you could coach back then.
Yeah,
you can't do that now.
No, I thought
I'm now getting an echo, James.
I hear your echo now. Why are you echoing?
I don't know.
What? What are we talking? Is Erik doing this thing again?
No, all of a sudden Zach got an echo. Now I hear the echo. Here, hold on. Let me stop this thing.
Echo.
Yeah, so we all rejoined back in, and the 3 of us popped up, and you didn't. I'm like, there he is. He's out. That was his cue. He fucked. Oh, the audio's fucked. Gotta go.
I may have been out of scream. Fuck James. I'm just saying. Sorry.
Yeah, I got to close this out, guys. Just rejoin the studio after I close you out. And James doesn't come back.
Yeah, 5 minutes later, just like, oh, sorry guys, it didn't.
The old bait and switch.
Yeah.
Nah, dude, I'm a firm believer in the old Irish goodbye.
Yeah, just
yeah, just see ya.
I called it the David Copperfield. I'll be fucked up like the life of your party, and the next thing you know, I'm gone.
Not only will I never have you any back on my show, you will never see me again. Gone.
So James.
Yeah. So as I was saying,
James, take control.
You can't coach kids like that anymore.
Take control of this shit show, James. This is your show.
Take control. All right.
Show me.
I don't know where to go.
You're working with.
Pink panties and little boys to.
Holy Jesus! That's how the fuck we're gonna kick this shit off again.
I mean, that's what you were talking about.
I'm gonna get fucking raided by the FBI tomorrow, asshole. No, we were. Well, I mean, yeah.
You were already in the governor of South Dakota's DM.
No,
so
it was.
Vans outside were all ready for you.
Back whenever I was playing golf, I was like 8th grade, but there was a rule on the golf team. I guess it wasn't on the golf. It wasn't like the coach didn't make us do this, but it was a kind of an unwritten rule between all the players that if you whiffed a drive and it didn't go past the women's tee, then you had to tee off again with your pants down.
Hang your dick out.
Yeah, you can't do that now.
Yeah.
Wait,
well,
did you go to Catholic school?
Look at Erik. Erik's like golf.
Erik was agreeing with me the whole time. He's like, I only play golf with my pants off.
Strip golf.
Hey, the minute somebody gives him metal
It's a great
clubs,
first
not
date.
plastic clubs, we're fucked. No, I'm just saying. Yeah. No.
All right,
Yeah,
Erik,
no,
what?
I was going to say I'm just now getting back into golf. My friends got me golf clubs a few years ago for my birthday, and I haven't really played till last week, so I'm pissed off that I suck. So this is now going to be another expensive hobby for me. Thank you.
I'm trash at golf.
I'm absolutely hot garbage. I one of three things happens. I pick my head up and scalp the fucker. I slice it off into the woods, or I get a hold of it. And there's absolutely no consistency other than to me picking my head up and scalping the motherfucker. And then there's Erik, who probably drives 350 in fucking boat shoes.
Are you swinging too hard? Are you playing with chicks?
Of course.
Yeah, are you playing?
Yeah, hey, you're talking. You realize who you're talking to, Zach? You are talking to the John Daly of Dirty and Driven.
Dude,
Podcast,
that's right.
You guys can run your fucking mouths all you want. I hit them motherfuckers so far. It's not even really that funny. And I want to get on here and be like, but my driver is like 8 feet long. And I swing that thing like it's not mine. So that's
Are you compensating?
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
I think the next podcast we do, it's a Dirty and Driven live from the golf course, and we just split up and play best ball 2 and 2.
There we go.
Okay,
Casey and I actually talked about doing a podcast live from the golf course. So if we all get together in the same place, we can do a live from the golf course.
Okay. Well, I
see that going
real.
I'm 100% down. I see that going horrific, but I'm in.
Well, yeah.
We're gonna be like the people you see getting chased around by the the marshal or whatever they call it. We get kicked off the course. Erik's not gonna have pants on.
Nope.
Smalls, I see you have your hand raised. I'm sorry, Mr. Daly, with your hand raised.
I would just like to say I know a few scantily clad women at Rome's here in Denver that would love to host a podcast with you gentlemen. Well, not with you, with me, but you guys could be on your screen.
We went from playing in a golf tournament to being a spectator in a sporting event.
We don't need to see you swing your club, Bryan.
Wrong club.
Bryan comes out dressed like he's all fucking Winnie the Pooh up with a shirt and no bottoms. Hey, where'd you guys see my clubs at?
Yeah, we pull up and it's like, Bryan, where's your golf bag at, dude? I
only brought my driver.
That shit is so good.
My short game's weak.
That went so better than I thought it was in my mind. And I kind of tried to set it up, and that was so great. I love you guys. That was great. James, your laugh was fucking perfectly timed.
All right, Erik, your turn to add value.
Good luck.
I've deemed Erik the responsible one of this call, mainly just because he's
driving.
Nobody can hear him.
I don't know. Like, we've been doing a lot of like refresher classes and stuff like that on like rigging for lifting. Because you watch some of these dudes and they're like, hook a chain to it, fuck it, and you're like, I mean, probably don't do that. Like, yeah, I was just gonna say, I know one motherfucker right there in the background with fucking crazy pants.
Strap it off, let's go.
But like, so when you go to some of these like big job sites, you have like safety sign waivers and stuff like that, especially with cranes. But like everything has a lift plan. So like today I was out in the windmill fields, and like when they lift anything or pick anything, there's a plan for it. What hardware you're using, you know, how the crane's set up, the personnel that are going to be on the ground, who's guiding who's in charge of the lift. And then you go to like some of these smaller operations, and it's some dude in like a truck crane that's leaking oil everywhere. He's like, my crane's good for 6,000. This is over, so I just hold over the override. We're good. I'm like, I mean,
I have never done that.
That's because you lift with a Bobcat. There's no override.
Shots fired.
I actually have held
I
the
picked up
override
this
button
rock
down.
and I dropped it on this gas main, and it went poof.
Google the Lawrence,
But I don't know,
Massachusetts gas explosion.
But like when you look at some of these, like when you get to the bigger cranes, how they set it up is it's not like roll out, telescope up, like how much counterweight you have, where's the counterweight, lengths of the rigging, all that shit comes into play. And I didn't know that much before I started working here about it, but there's a lot that goes into it so you don't drop one of those big fucking windmills. Because they also don't like it when you call them windmills. They're like, they're wind turbines. I'm like, whatever, fucking Hansel and Gretel. But I don't know, I think that's as much as Smalls has got the defund OSHA thing on the back, safety's a big thing out at like the big lift sites because there's so much going on.
I'd like to address that. I'd like to address that real quick. So we were walking into a King Stupid's to get some lunch. Me and a couple of guys doing an over X up in Thornton, and this fucking rent-a-cop.
King Stupids.
King Stupids, King Supers.
Oh,
that's the name of the grocery store. We call it King Stupids.
Well, we're not from there. We don't get the local joke.
Okay, well that's great. Shut the fuck up. Let me finish.
I was actually interested in trying this. Yeah, but go on.
You too.
So your rent-a-cop shows up.
So anyway, we walk into King Stupids and this fucking.
Turn your phone off.
Can't help it. These chicks love me. So we walk into King Stupids and this rent-a-cop goes. He sees us, and I usually wear a black Surveyor shit because I like to have my Sharpies and my phone. I like a little pocket every now and then, you know. Plus, I mean, I'm down to like flex on it. What was that? I'm sorry. But anyway,
I said you like a little pocket.
Listen, if I'm not smart, I'm gonna try to look smart. Cut me some slack.
Okay, so you have your Surveyor vest and your pocket pussy and all that. Okay,
so I'm doing my shit. And this rent-a-cop goes, and two of my guys behind me, they don't have their vests on. And all they just have is their defund OSHA shirts. And he goes, yeah, fuck safety. And one of them goes, nope, not fuck safety, fuck OSHA. Like, not fuck safety, fuck OSHA. You know, they're fucked by their fines. And I'm not saying some of their regulations and their practices aren't there. I'm just... You know, we all, to be honest with you, we perceive the most grandiose version of OSHA when we think about them showing up and us being in complete compliance. You know?
They're notorious for finding something. My buddy got his job down so the guy can come out and measure up.
You want to know what they do here? You want to know what they do here? They sit a quarter mile away with a fucking long-range lens. And they take pictures of us.
That's ridiculous.
It's not a joke. We're one of those markets.
I feel like Erik had something good to contribute to this.
We had, like everybody worries about OSHA, and maybe for like most of y'all, that is the biggest fear when it comes to regulatory bodies. But like for me, like when I have to go work in the mines, MSHA is way worse. MSHA will dump your fucking, and they'll fucking. Any handmade tool, anything that's not got a factory stamp or seal on it, if your rigging doesn't have certifications on it, every single item is a violation. So like, I think I had brake clean and the caps were off of them. Apparently can't have brake clean without caps on them in a truck because it's a flammable that isn't properly stored. So my 12 cans of brake clean without lids was 12 violations.
Damn.
Jeez. Now that's
I'm like, hey man, like, so then I went over to the paint booth and I stole 12 spray pan caps and just, I'm like, I'm good now. Like, I don't know, they're much harsher on it and they'll turn you away from the mine site, which for me, it's a couple hours to get there, but like, you know, that's an inconvenience to everybody and there's not really any, like you have guys that will dump the truck and there's guys that are like, you got your vest, your hard hat, your radio, all right, have at it, man. So there's not really a lot of consistency with it, whereas at least the OSHA guys I come across, they're at least consistent on how, in my area, how they enforce everything. But I don't know, I think like people care more about their safety than somebody else's. Like I care more about my safety than my company does. I'm not going to do anything that I'm going to fuck myself up on. I mean, maybe I'm the anomaly, but fuck that.
Yeah, but a lot of guys, especially your younger guys, don't have that mentality. I mean, whenever I was 18 and in a trench or like doing shit, I didn't mind doing sketchy shit because, I mean, at that age, it makes you a man, or so you think. But that's where it is good to have some sort of something to where the guys around you will say, hey, dude, don't do that shit.
You want to know what the something is? Fuck TikTok, fuck everything else. That dude's doing 20 years. I got a guy here locally in our state, not far from where we are, that isn't out of our range of competitors and local dirt guys that didn't just get sentenced to 20 fucking years for a church collapse.
I just saw that. That was recent, wasn't it?
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a discussion about whether or not that's just or unjust. I don't want to go down that fucking road. That's a whole other episode. But I'm going to tell you.
Well, they nailed him for manslaughter.
He got 20 fucking years. Yeah.
Good.
20 fucking years. You want to know what the truth is? OSHA, just like every fucking other thing that's run by the goddamn government, if you guys want to get back to doing what you're originally intended to do, feel fucking free. Let's go back to education. Let's go back to showing up on site and making sure that everybody's safe and understands what they're doing. That ain't the juxtaposition anymore. The juxtaposition is let's sit back a quarter mile in an unmarked vehicle with a long-range fucking lens taking pictures of you guys. We catch a lot of shit. Our over-X's, I don't bench them. I did a 10-footer. I didn't bench it. GC was freaking out. So the only other dude in there is a fucking loader. We're running 2D. We can mark all our shit. Everybody's good. I don't even have the room to bench it. I'd have been outside the limits of the property line based on the depth of the over-X and the size of the building and the size of the rest of it. It shared King Supers. So the parking requirement for that building wasn't that high. But the over-X was 10 foot, over 6,500 square feet. There's you got to sit.
I had an inspector in Mass sit down the street
Yeah.
in an unmarked. The only way I could sit, he pulled up one day and he had a gold Chevy 1500 with a gold paint match cap. So not a lot of those in the street. Picked him up after a while, but he would sit down the street and watch us. We were doing a demo of a YMCA. We had mastic asbestos, so we had different shit set up, and he'd sit there and take pictures. And he walked on site 3 or 4 times. Shut us down once for not really violations, but we had to have a truck washout for the truck tires and all that to go through and different shit. And the guy I was working for was a little bit of a crackhead, so he didn't have the nicest stuff. So they shut us down for 72 hours and made us do all these corrections. And when he came back, after they let us start back up again to do another surprise inspection, he found some other shit, and I started throwing wrenches in my hard hat, and he kind of got scared and decided to let us keep working. But yeah, they sit down the street and wild.
Well, it's ridiculous that you have these guys that are government agents that all of a sudden they have the authority to write you a citation. If you don't pay that citation, you go to jail. So they have that power now, but instead of teaching these guys, you're teaching these guys to be a hammer, and you're teaching them that, hey, you got to go in, you got to write citations. And that's all they know is I've got to write citations. If it was truly for your safety and your health and making the workforce a better and safer place, and there are inspectors,
educate.
And I've met these inspectors. They're few and far between, but they will show up on your job site and they will say, all right, I'm going to inspect it. I've been in your shoes before. They've done the work before. They get it. And then they say, all right, here's the shit you need to fix. Here's kind of some different ways you can do to fix this. I'm going to give you a little bit of time and I'll be back tomorrow, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's good and that's reasonable. And then, pull up onto a site and write a citation. If you walk up and, there is a guy in a really, really, really sketchy situation. Yeah, sure. Then you need to throw your badge and your authority around, but that's also where you need to educate and say, hey, this is why I'm writing you up.
Can I talk?
If you just write a badge,
my favorite inspectors.
Can I put my hat in the ring real quick? Do you guys understand the financial composition of 811?
Not entirely, kind of, but no.
The local utility.
I go to their free breakfast. They give us 3 cans of white paint.
The local utilities pay 811 to perform their service locates. It's something that every local utility, whether it be cable, power, gas, whatever the fuck you are, you all contribute.
Yeah, they all pitch into the
And
fund.
there's a local shit to it. So, we did some educational training, and we had a cute little blonde girl from the 811 class come in, and she kind of explained the whole thing. And I mean, essentially, our job is to do what 811 tells us to do. I don't understand how all of the rest of this, everything else that we're doing, doesn't make any sense. Like what I just.
What do you mean?
What?
What part doesn't make sense?
What did you say?
This doesn't make sense. What? Huh?
Erik came on and threw me off because I went from over here to over here. And then James came over here and he looks like he's staring right at me. It's really clear.
It's time for another upper. What part doesn't make sense? They're all funded by the other utilities,
yeah.
and then
they fuck everything up, and then we're responsible for it.
Well, that is what's annoying too about 811. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to dig like a high pressure gas main, like a 10-inch. If you dig within 10 foot of that line, they have to have a guy on site while you're digging. Well,
you should see what happens when you have to lift one up so you can stuff a sewer pipe under it.
Back in it.
I bet. Well, they tried to tell us one time, we're on a $3 million job and we are literally 9 foot away from their line. And it's, nope, I got to be there because you're within 10 foot. And their line is also like 10 feet deep and we're digging about 6 inches down. So, it's like, well, we've got to be there. And it's like, dude, and they held up or tried to hold up our job for like 2.5 weeks, which we only had like a 75 or I think it was a 90-day contract on this job. It's like, dude, you can't hold us up 2 weeks. And, oh, yes, I can. It's in the state constitution that I can do this. And it's like, well, fuck you. We'll be digging on this day. So you better figure out how you can get there.
Well, that was like, we had a 36-inch gas main in that intersection where I was working for most of the beginning of the summer. And everyone's like, oh, you better not hit it. You better. I'm like, what are you going to do if I do? None of us are going to be here afterwards. And if you think this Bobcat's going to break through that main, you're wrong. But in the event that, all the stars align, none of us are going to be here to talk about it.
Was it?
But yeah, they were all hemmed up.
Was it poly or steel?
They didn't tell me. But whatever it was, we were supposed to do a power crossing from like the main transformer across the intersection to new lights and whatever flashing signals they were putting in, pedestrian lights and all that shit. And I hit their duct bank, which after 52 inches of digging down, I hadn't reached the bottom of. So I'm assuming it was also wrapped in concrete. They stacked curb and then poured it. It was like 4 feet wide by 4.5 feet down. And I stopped digging because there was no point in sleeving 2 little conduits underneath that. We just rerouted it. But yeah, they were all up about it. Like, oh, this gas main's here. You need the gas company out. You better not hit it. It's marked. If you hit this, like, you're going to blow up half of Massachusetts. It was same thing.
They tried to do that on a parking lot. It was a gravel parking lot and there was a gas main that ran under it and they wanted to pave it asphalt. So we were like, oh yeah, okay, no problem. Well, we were going to grade the lot and everything. So we went ahead and just put a locate in. Didn't really need to because they had existing rock base that we were using, but we were like, well, just in case, we'll put a locate in. And the gas company calls and they're like, hell no, you're not putting asphalts over that line. We were like, what? And they're like, if you want to put pavements over our gas line, you have to put 10 foot of 14-inch steel reinforced concrete. Otherwise,
how big was this gas line?
It was a big one. I don't know how big it was.
Wait. Say that again. What?
So they wanted us to put like 14-inch steel reinforced concrete over this gas line. We were like, why the hell do we need to do that? And they're like, well, in case it blows up, it's not going to, have shit going everywhere. And we're like, if it blows up, we're all fucked. Like,
yeah, we're not going to be here to talk about it.
Your concrete, your 10-foot concrete on this, and it was just like a restaurant. So these people couldn't afford 14-inch concrete with steel reinforcing. They wanted 6 inches of asphalt,
Yeah.
So it was a whole mess. But they tried to do that, and finally it was like, dude, screw you guys. Like, just be a reasonable human being here.
Right. Yeah, when we called in, I mean, there was shit running all through that intersection, and we called in our dig safe, and Boston DPW came out, and Eversource came out, or whoever the gas company is down there. And then the power company came out, and this girl was like, well, you know a state trooper here, so I can't mark this out because I don't feel safe, but I'll be back tomorrow. I'm like, all right, cool. And then never came back, so we just chanced it. Like, yeah, you guys didn't mark it, so. But we get, I don't know, like, you get, the gas company will come out, water, sewer, DPW, and then it seems like whoever's marking power and other random shit is like a subcontractor out of Texas. And I'm like, what? How did you get this contract? Like, what? You don't own any of these lines. You're just the independent. That's the other thing that bothers me is like, they don't send out their own people that own the line. They send out.
I couldn't find anything to hook up to, but I feel like it's right here. I'm getting a reading right. I couldn't find anything to hook up to, but it's right here.
Yeah, we're pretty sure it's right here. And if you hit it, well, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked. But
Verizon won't come out and mark their fiber optics.
Nope.
They'll send, AccuMark from Texas to come out and mark their shit. I'm like, sick.
I'm hungry.
Oh shit!
You got the munchies from that dab pen?
Oh shit!
Brian's coming back with a bag of Doritos and a box of Cheez-Its.
He's just gonna be right in the microphone, just.
Yeah, he's the guy opening Lay's potato chips in the movie theater.
Hey, should I do teriyaki sauce or sweet and sour?
Brian, we can't hear you. Quit yelling from your other room.
Something about teriyaki, sweet and sour.
Dude, this is the most low budget, low record. Jeez, man. We are going to lose. There's going to be people who listen to this podcast every week, and they're going to be like, you know what? Never again.
Never again. Never again. This was it. I mean, there's plenty of value we could talk about if you want to, chop and screw this thing. No.
He's going to chop this thing in like 10 minutes of value, and the rest of it's just going to be, what? Huh? And fucking loud noise.
It's going to be like a Little John record.
It's going to sound
okay.
Yeah. It's going to be just like a job site. It's going to be like talking to your old foreman on a job site. What? Huh? Beep, beep. Cell phones ringing. Yeah, this is just the Construction Noises White Noise podcast.
This is what people are going to... Well, this is actually not what dreams are made of. It's probably more like what nightmares are made out of. That's okay.
I'm sure that there's people listening to this who are like, you know what? I was going to hire Dirty and Driven to help me implement some training programs in my company. And now they're like, you know what? Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. This is like one of those scared straight talks where you bring in a bunch of degenerates to scare children.
This is that. Well, Zach initiated.
So you think you want a blue-collar worker, eh? And then this cuts in, they're like, I'm going to college.
Student loans don't sound so bad after this.
Yeah, we're sitting here telling all these kids like, oh, you don't have to go to college. You can go straight to the blue-collar workforce. And then they listen to this and they're like, yeah,
No.
My parents are right.
My parents warned me about people like this.
Listen,
all the things that they say about construction workers are true.
You guys want to tag me in a bunch of shit? I'm heating up a meal prep.
Oh, nice.
I think that between the four of us, we probably, like, if we were playing like fucking blue collar stigma tic-tac-toe, I think we'd have blackout on every fucking board.
What's with Erik between racial references tonight?
What?
Why is it going to be black, reference? Erik?
I'm already scared about what is about to come out of Smalls' mouth.
You might just mute him on your end for like 30 seconds. You're in timeout.
I'm good. No,
so you're eating a meal prep?
Yeah, I'm like 30 seconds away from putting some sweet and sour on it.
Nice.
So, and that's the trade-off, right? Like, we can get on your podcast and we can act like absolute degenerates and we can just be total wastes of human air. Oh, your food's done.
Thanks.
Beep, beep.
But the alternative to that is like you meet people in construction that are all from different walks of life or very similar, however you want to look at it. But at the end of the day, like my post the other day said, like, I know I could call any one of you at any time, early, late, whatever, and you'd pick up the phone or you'd answer a DM. And likewise, if you called me, I'd pick up. So there's something to be said for the degenerative fun that we have, because quite frankly, that's, you know, part of my stress relief is dark humor. So, you know, and you can say that for a lot of people. But my point is that you get these personalities, these loud type A personalities, off-color personalities, whatever you want to call it. But deep down, like Smalls was saying, you get loyalty, you get friendships, and you grow a bond that you may not get somewhere else, working in an office or working in a store or a supermarket or, you know, whatever, because you go through shit together. A lot of us come from very similar backgrounds, have very similar experiences, and, you know, are able to rely on each other, coworkers, friends, whatever. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is we can get on your show and act like assholes. But if you ask anybody, if push came to shove, if you came to any one of us and needed something, we would be there because we're decent human beings.
You know, and that's
Well, right. And like that's the thing. Like you build such good like it's kind of like the military. And I think Brandon from On Grade had a thing about like veterans in construction, and like when you get out of the military, like you look for those bonds and connections that you're not going to replicate outside of the military. But the trades comes close because if we're both in a fucking trench digging bullshit out, like you're suffering together, and like you build cohesion with that. But like for a while, every morning, Zach and I would talk on the phone because he was an hour ahead and I started earlier. So on the way into fucking Boston and on the way to a job site, like we'd shoot the shit fucking every morning, and that was kind of how it started. And then depending on the time, I'd be getting done with my day and I'd call fucking Smalls and we'd bullshit on the way home. And like you don't have that in other industries. Like I don't think there is a single office person that's like, yeah, I call this person and I talk to them because, you know, this, that. Like they might bitch about office life, but it's not the same.
It's a totally
background, and it's not that.
Like my butt, I got like Erik. I got another buddy that I've been friends with when I started my very first excavation job. I was a laborer, he was an operator, and he used to stuff me in a machine like just to try and get me some seat time because he knew I hated my fucking job. And we're the same age, like cool kid. And I've just stayed friends with him. I got him into Local 4 with me when he needed a job. And I've talked to him every day on the phone at least once for the last year while he's gone through a divorce. And same thing. We both drive into Boston together. We call each other 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, talk for an hour, and that starts your day. On the way home, I'll give him a buzz. You still working? Yes, no, haha, I got out an hour ago, whatever. And you don't get that at a lot of other places. So it's like kind of one of the underlying things I like about this industry. Like you can go to any company, you're going to end up meeting people along the way, whether you work with them, whether you meet them on Instagram or whatever, and you're going to build a bond and you're going to have a true, like, tight relationship with these people over different life experiences that you just can't replicate anywhere else.
Yeah, and I was about to make the same point Erik did, is like, as someone who works in both settings, the office and the field settings, you don't get that bond in the office. You know, the office is politics and it's, you know, doing the right shit, and it's, you know, it's you're not doing hard shit together. Like maybe if you go and I know some offices that are tight, but they do hard shit together. You know, they work out together, they do crazy things together, but unless they're doing hard shit together, they're not bonding like the blue collar guys. You know, the blue collar guys, whenever you're in a trench with 4 other dudes and it's 110 degrees outside and it's humid as shit, you guys all go home and you had the same pain that day, but then you're still making jokes, making light of it. You don't get that anywhere else.
You ever been to Top Golf with like 5 accountants?
Yeah, and I wanted to freaking die.
Oh, I thought you were going to say no, and I was going to be like, me either.
Well, okay, they weren't accountants, but I did go to Top Golf one time with a bunch of engineers, and it was...
That's just as gay.
Yeah.
Don't spit out your meal prep. You need that protein.
But I mean, that's a point that I want to make. Not Brian's meal prep, but
I was like, I'm all ears. This shit's banging, bro.
That's a point that I want to make, though, is, we live in a society where everybody's craving some sort of community or belonging or culture. Everybody wants that, whether they realize it or not. Everybody wants to belong to something. That's why so many people are so hard into politics, or they're so hard into certain movements, or
prison gang.
And that's why people argue that. Because what?
What?
What did you say?
I said prison gangs. It was a joke.
Oh.
It was a joke.
Your guy.
I didn't think you.
Yeah.
No, but right. A lot of people are looking for a place to belong to, like whether that's a political affiliation, a pickleball team, whatever's hot these days. Everybody's looking for something to go do, something to be involved in.
Yeah, and you have that in the trades, and I think that's like the biggest marketing thing that we miss out on is the simple community. I mean, you go to any blue collar job site and they're all cracking jokes. They're all having fun. And I mean, sure, they're all different, which is even better. But like the community as a whole is all there, and it's all solid people and a few assholes.
Oh, absolutely.
Solid
people.
People.
You get a couple of bad apples in every bunch.
Like Bryan said, at his company, it's family. And it's funny because when you hear an office setting, somebody's like, we're not workers, we're family. Usually that is bullshit, and it's the most toxic place you've ever worked. But the exception is the trades, because I can list off the number of dudes at work that I've gone to their kid's softball game or baseball game or whatever it is. You'll hang out on the weekend and drink beers or go fishing or do whatever the fuck it is. But that's a much tighter knit bond than we're family. Okay, well, when you're standing by the copier waiting for that shit to kick out, you're probably not family, right? It's not the same as working fucking 7-12s because you all want that double bubble on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, and it's in the office, it's oh my God, we got cake for Karen's birthday. Look, guys, we got a fucking cake, and that's the only reprieve of fun that they get. And then,
and half the people are Karen's such a fucking bitch. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Exactly. But, you go in the trades and it's every single day is oh, it's your fucking birthday, dude. Let's plant this rattlesnake in this trench and scare the shit out of this dude. You know what I mean?
Your birthday, we're going to light your asshole on fire.
Let's talk about who I take.
Right.
Your number one go. First, you, Zach.
Huh?
What?
Erik, what were you going to say?
Oh, well, I remember I was talking with Smalls, I was 2 weeks ago. He had an early rainout day. And the guys were playing cards and drinking whiskey at the fucking shop. And you're not going to have that in office. Maybe we'll go catch a beer after work. Probably not, though. But I don't know.
Pizza party Fridays.
The level of right. I don't know. It's not, I just think it's better. I think it's a better work environment. I think as much as people bitch about the manual labor side of it and the fact you're out in the weather, it's a better environment for everybody, because while we'll give you shit, there's nobody that's going to be closer to you or be on you, have your back more than somebody that you've worked out in the fucking field with for weeks and months and long on these long ass fucking jobs.
You can't get rid of the office weenies. So there has to be both of us. We just need to respect the fact that we're different.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with you.
I don't want to get down like you guys.
Oh yeah, you need the office. One hand washes the other, right? If your office isn't in tune, then your field guys are kind of fucked because they're relying on certain things from the office for sure. But when you look at even a blue collar office, I'm sure that there's a level of more blue collarness to that office than there is to Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe lawyers. No offense to your dad, who's apparently a personal injury attorney. We'll joke about that later.
Wait, let me in on this shit.
James's dad is a personal injury attorney.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, so I mean, you're gonna get a better. You're not gonna get the same office experience from a construction company versus an attorney firm or an accounting firm or whatever. But yeah, to Eric's point, like you get guys out there that are doing those 7-12s, like you just embrace the suck together, and you just bond over the bullshit, and you're not going to be able to duplicate that, bonding over TPS reports. Like it just doesn't happen. When's the last time? I don't want to make a joke about it, but like you hear about people shooting up fucking offices. When's the last time a job site got shot up? You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't happen on this side of the coin. And I think you're right. That's a big area we miss.
Every dude on the job site probably has a gun in his truck, and he's like, I don't like two-way shooting.
No, it doesn't go that way. You throw them like I'm throwing back.
Fucking Crazy Terry in the D6 is about to drive right through my truck and I shoot at the job site.
But you don't get the same. It's a different culture, obviously, but I think it's a huge point, like you said, that we miss that in the marketing for why we should attract people to blue collar, why you should attract people to trades. And to Bryan's point, like, yeah, we're the silverback equipment operating, chest beating, degenerates versus the drywall and mudding Spanish guys. But even still, those guys laugh and have lunch together, and they're all wives cook for each other. I got a bunch of Spanish guys that work for me. They all come in and trade food. So even on their level, like they've got something going on. But I think it's a big upside to what we do, despite the fact we end up abusing ourselves over the course of our career. You're just not going to find relationships that you would find elsewhere.
Yeah, it's fulfilling too.
Right.
I mean, yeah, somebody who works both ends of the spectrum in the construction industry, I might say nothing's more fulfilling than at the end of the day going, yeah, shit, I was a part of this.
Right.
And looking at it with like the people, I mean, even though someone might be an asshole that day or someone might not, but at the end of the day, it's like you're out there and you're having fun and you're joking around. Just like, I mean, you're having the same conversations we're having on this podcast, except even more, and it's fun.
Right. I mean, the crew that I work with, like, I mean, my truck driver and my boss have been friends forever, and they're in their late 50s, 60s, whatever. And then you got a couple of Spanish guys that work with us, and then a couple other guys, and then me. And it's, they'll scream at me all day and just ride my, like all day. They were just riding my shit as I'm digging over. We were putting curb in for a side job for a developer, and we got a gas line right under the curb run. And I'm just digging, and they're just giving it to me. Whatever they can think, just giving me shit, like whatever you can think of, while I'm trying to like split hairs and not blow us all up. And it was stressful because you're digging over something that you don't know where it is, and you can't really find it because, again, dig safe's not accurate. But you just don't get that. When it was all done, we all laughed. It was one big sigh of relief. Like, all right, cool, we got everything done by 10. Concrete's here, back to curb. We'll go back to Boston. And you don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah, that's true, man.
You say some of the shit we say in an office, and you're headed to HR.
Oh, I tell all my guys I'm a human resources nightmare.
Oh, I've said that from day one. That's why I don't work. I can't work in an office.
Bryan says I am human resources.
Well, I mean, here's the reality.
I'm human resources for crew. So
yeah, you don't hire me for my politically correct conversational skills. I don't give a fuck how you feel about how I feel, or how I speak. That's really not what I'm here for. If you don't like it, then go away. I was hired to do it.
Yeah, you're hiring for a production.
Yeah, I was hired for a job. I know my parameters. I know most of the time, unless the GC's not on their shit, most of the time I understand what my proctor is, and I don't need anybody there. It's simply just yardage and moving it, putting it back, and hitting your milestones. Our last job was 6,500 feet, and we did 8 days of a 10-foot over-X on it with no proctor. The proctor came back 3 days later, and we were within like 0.8% both ways, plus or minus, on optimal moisture and optimal wet density. So it's kind of one of those things, you know what I mean? Like, if you know what the fuck you're doing, then it is what it is. I don't know. It's really kind of tough because like putting a feel on it, and like I appreciate all the organizations that are trying to promote it, and even the shit that I'm trying to promote. But the hardest thing in the world to do is explain to somebody what is absolutely unexplainable. You know, like it's just, I don't know. You just, to me,
No, it's hard, man.
you kind of gotta feel people out where you can and then give them the opportunity, because this shit's really hard to nail down, because it is an absolutely irregular lifestyle, straight irregular.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. Like whenever I get people come in for a job interview, I look at them and I say, look, man, there's no set start time per se, and there's no set end time per se. You know, typically we start around this time. We end when the job is over. It's hot. It's brutally hot. It's humid. It's sometimes rains. There's a lot of shit going on here, man. Like I don't beat around the bush and be like, it's all sunshine and wonderful and rainbows. No, man, it's hard work.
It is asphalt.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, no shit, right?
So it's like, you know, if you want to be a part of it, then awesome. But like,
Dude, I'll fuck you up.
just know that it's hard.
What?
Brian's cat is in the room now.
Well,
You let the cat in.
he is
finally?
literally, he's outside, and I think he's trying to fuck up my screen. I might have to whoop my cat's ass on podcast. Sorry. Peter.
Don't let my wife see.
Peter. What?
Oh, now you're gonna get wrangled in by PETA.
He's an ass.
You're fucked.
Hey, so hold on. You guys want to hear a funny story? So we're doing this Sherwin-Williams down in Roxborough, right? And we got clearing and grubbing to do, and then we got some leveling off, and we had a whole bunch of fill to bring in. So I was like, let's do this right and bring it and level out the ship fill, and then bring in all the structural fill, and we'll save you a couple inches on your paving section and do this shit right. Make the site nice. You know, it absorbs water better. It handles rainstorms better. I was like, you know, this is the right way to do shit, and it isn't going to cost me enough. The metric isn't going to be large enough to make me not want to do it the right way. And these guys were super stoked about it, right? And, oh my God, what the fuck? How do I keep it?
I think Brian's fucked up.
I've lacked to see the humor in this.
I like how Brian keeps telling a story and then he's like, wait.
Loses it halfway through. All right, so back to my point. I actually have a reasonable thing to talk about. Something that we could actually.
Brian's got to sign up.
I don't know how much quality we're going to get out. I mean, positive point. So we talked about it the last time. You've got like the unrealistic suicide levels of blue collar workers, right?
Yeah.
We kicked that can around. So how do we bridge the gap from? We just discussed having this major bond between people that are just in the field and the suck and the pull shit together. And then you've got this other side of the coin where you're like, wow, statistically speaking, blue collar guys themselves more often than not.
Yeah.
How do we bridge that gap? Like, what is it? We got a lot of focus on company culture now. We got a lot of focus on work-life balance now. We're highlighting the mental health aspect. We've talked about spam. Fuck you. We've talked about, you know, balancing work life, the exercise thing we've talked about. Like, where is that middle ground of we have a kick-ass industry unlike any other, where you're going to get relationships unlike any other. Oh, and by the way, we have this dark side of the industry where people silently struggle until they just can't take it anymore, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's where we've got to find that line, because like, dude, and I've seen this, man, with guys in the industry that are great freaking people, but like they go home, they're the nicest, funniest, most charismatic people, and then they go home and beat the shit out of their wives, or they go home and they want to kill themselves, or I mean, it's you're doing one of the coolest jobs that you can do, but also you're fucking depressed as soon as you get home. And you know, what is the best solution? I don't know. We all say speak up, talk about it, but what the fuck does that even mean, man? And what does it mean to speak up? But speak up to what? Like, dude, I don't want to talk about it. It fucking sucks.
Dude, there's a lot of shit involved in that we can't change. You know, you got two motherfuckers on here, and I'm going to tell you right now, I know Zach and I both identify with the struggle to stay relevant as a father. And the fucking fight, the willingness alone should cancel out the fight. I shouldn't have to fight if I'm willing. You know what I mean? I went through that same shit.
Oh, exactly.
You want to know how hard that is on top of paying guys' bills and balancing schedules and being productive and keeping your customer happy and all the shit you have to do and paying your fucking bills and collecting on shit and being responsible, yet being firm. be a diligent yet understanding. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of shit that goes into this, and you want to know what the truth is, dude? Anybody that does this on a commercial level, even on some of the larger fucking residential levels, dude, you can sink a lot of money into these jobs 60 to 90 days before you get paid.
Yeah.
So you couple that stress on your home stress.
And I don't give a fuck what anybody says about relationships. We all have relationships. I got them. I got them with developers that will send us out of state. Okay? But the reality is even if you have a perceived relationship, it still weighs on you, because guess what we're doing? We're investing our capital in the benefit of getting your project done to your specification or whatever municipality's specification, and then making sure that you're happy so we can pay for our fucking payment on the back end. It's not an easy life, bro. And there's nobody clapping for us, dog. I mean, my guys know that I'm good at what I do, but I shut that shit down because that's not the energy we need to be having as a crew. That's not productive to them.
That's where I think the hardest part mentally of this industry, I mean, you could call it being a business owner, you could call it this industry. I mean, for one, if you're on a construction crew, especially right now in today's times where you don't have people at your disposal, you don't have a shitload of people. Like, if you call in or you have shit, you miss work, you are visibly affecting other people around you, especially if you're on a smaller crew. Like, but if you're a business owner in this industry, especially, it's fucking hard because you have family problems like you're talking about, and then you're not getting paid. And it's like every single day you wake up and it's hard shit that you're having to do, and you have to go and keep working and trying to do all this stuff. Meanwhile, your family's got issues, your financials having issues, and you're struggling, but it all goes on. And you can't just fucking quit. You can't just go and take a day off. You can't call in. You have to face that stuff. Otherwise, it's not ever going to happen for you. And that's hard to deal with, man.
Yeah.
And truly,
you've signed up to roles where certain things aren't a fucking option. They're not a fucking option. We're not a Starbucks employee. I'm not making your fucking waffles at IHOP. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we got contractual obligations. I got guys that have bills to fucking pay, and they went out and purchased houses and cars on the safety and security of the jobs and what I provided them, because they saw the people we were working for. They saw the validity. We're not just out here grading fucking driveways for some hillbilly out in Keensburg.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and dude, and you have your guys that rely on you. You have people that are building developments that are relying on you. I mean, it's a lot of people. And if you just decide,
looks to you for the solutions, you're supposed to fix the problems. I mean, it's just day in and day out. And I got to be honest with you, like, I'm not willing to sit here and sound like a bitch and act like I'm complaining about it. But more of what it is it's the acceptance of the fact that this is what we chose. I chose this shit. You think nobody held a gun to my head when I bought my second quad axle. I knew what I was getting into. You know what I mean? After I bought my first X, when I went to buy my second, nobody held a gun to my head. I knew what I was getting into. I dove into that shit full fucking force. So we all do this. The problem is it's just tough to rely constantly on your own clapping.
Yeah.
Because when you quit clapping for yourself and there's no more clapping, sometimes that's tough, bro. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that truly the only way that you build, I mean, how do you fix the mental health crisis in the industry? I think the only way to do that is just learn how to build fucking resilience, man. I mean, it's like Bryan's saying, you have to clap for yourself sometimes, because people don't care how good of a bad or day you're having. If you're not getting their shit done, they don't care, man. They don't care.
No, and more people than not, like, quietly want to see you fail. And nobody really talks about that. Like, you have more people. But one of my favorite stand-ups is Cat Williams' Pimp Chronicles. He's like, if you have 2 haters, go find you 2 more by the end of the day. And that's the truth. Like, it's a cutthroat industry. It's an awesome industry, but there's the dark sides of what we do are pretty dark. And there's a lot of people that are just waiting on your downfall, waiting to see you fuck up, waiting to see you go under, whatever you want to call it. And if you're not constantly cheering for yourself, he's right. There's not a line of people that are cheering for you unless you're And it's not even them. Like some big company that everybody follows. Like out here, it's WL French. They get the nicest shit. They get the best trucks. They get the best work. Like great company. I know the owner, but that doesn't isolate them from the same stuff. There's people that can't stand them, you know, and on a smaller level, if you're a guy like Bryan, that has a handful of people that rely on you, and the tough days are still going to be tough, and you're not clapping for yourself, and you're not keeping yourself motivated, like, yeah, it's easy to fall into that state of depression and break your mental. And like you said, the only way to get around that is to continue to be resilient, keep cheering yourself on, and keep just putting one foot in front of the other. Do hard things. Like,
I mean, that's the other
that's
thing.
what it is.
When you dip into that state, because I'm not going to sit here for a hot fucking second and tell me that any two human ears that are absorbing what I'm saying hasn't had peaks and valleys. This is what this shit's about. Yeah. This is life. This is a roller coaster, right? But if you can't figure out how to get yourself out of those and like what those mean to you and just how to absorb them the right way, dude, it's just sometimes you're just like, holy shit. I don't know. But what's tough is you can't let anybody see any of that. So what you're dealing with as a business owner, bills and schedules and everybody fucking up, all the GCs fucking up at the same time, or all the other trades fucking up at the same time, and you having to make up the slack. We took that Thornton job where we did that 10-foot overX. We took that Thornton job, and they were already behind 20 days, and they told me I had 15 days to get that done, and we got it done in 8. So we saved them 7 days off their schedule, right? Well, the vice president showed up, and he was like, okay, cool. Well, it wasn't a great fucking job. It was, can you give me the next 7 when you do utilities?
Jeez.
Like they're almost programmed.
And that's shit leadership,
they're almost programmed to take the celebration out of it. So what you have to do as a business owner is you have to compensate for that, because when your guys do a good job, they know what the fucking metric is. We know how many yards we're trying to move. We know how many lifts per the size of the building foundation pad that we're bringing in. We know how many lifts that we're supposed to bring it up. We set our own goals for the day. You know what I mean? So to constantly being that guy that pushes the goals, that measures the goals, that rewards everybody else, all the rest of shit. I'm not going to lie, man. Sometimes I just drive home and I'm like, what in the fuck am I doing? I don't know that I'm built.
I don't even have air conditioning.
Yeah, no fucking air conditioning. Hotter than the inside of both of your legs. I swear to God. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But you want to know what the truth is? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm either going to do this until I'm not. I'm going to do this until I'm not. Like, I don't know what the fuck else to do, bro. And everybody wants to lend 2 pieces on the shit, but the reality is there are so many issues on the spectrum of why guys like us go through this shit. I mean, we're looked down on almost immediately. My daughter went through that shit. Her mom met a guy, and everybody was laughing, and he thought he was hot shit. And finally, my daughter said, "My dad makes twice what you do." I'm dirty as fuck. Show up in a raggedy old shit box 2006 Dodge flatbed,
air conditioning,
rusted up like a motherfucker. Rusted up like a motherfucker because I did snow removal for 8 years. Just rumbling, not giving a shit.
But that's the perception.
We deal with that.
Look at this guy's shitbox. He's not. He's not.
You want to know what the truth is? You want to know when we start getting appreciated? When the shit hits the real fucking fan.
Oh yeah, when somebody's water's out, or their power's out, or their sewer's backed up, all of a sudden you're the hero.
You're gonna hit the fucking fan. And you want to know what's sad? Is this gonna take that kind of shit for guys like us? For anybody to stop, listen, and I don't want you to fucking cry for me, and I don't need you to buy my dinner at Applebee's. That's not where the fuck I'm going with this. All I'm trying to say is goddamn, you know what? You want to know what? When you shit in comfort with your fan on, or even your stupid fucking wireless speakers in your shitter in your house that's too big with your overinflated sales price, and you're upside down like a fucking circus bat. You know what I mean? Like, you want to know why you're comfortable? You're fucking welcome. And
moral of the story.
I want praise. I just don't want to be looked down on.
Yeah.
And I think it's high fucking time that people understand that everybody has a purpose. Everybody has.
Well, I said that to someone one time. They made some.
It's pay gap. You want to talk about pay gap? UPS drivers? How many of you motherfuckers need another plug for your iPhone? Let me know. Is that crucial? Is that as crucial as water and plumbing and the rest of it? No, it's not. How many of you motherfuckers need another set of foot detox pads or the next pan with some stupid fucking non-coating bullshit surface? No, I mean, I'm sick of this shit. UPS drivers out there making $170K. You want to know what the first thing they did? Nobody let the shit sleep. Those are sleeping dogs. Let them lie. You want to know what they did? They went after us immediately. Well, how's the construction industry going to feel about the fact that these guys, well, we didn't pick this fight. Square up. We didn't pick this fight. Why are you coming after us? It's that,
my contract's better than UPS.
That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. We're all sick of it. We're all fucking sick of it. We're all sick of it. It's not about some stupid fucking song or any municipality or anything else. I'm going to tell you right now, anybody listening to this podcast is probably a badass motherfucker. Can fix his own truck, handle his own shit, make sure his water's flowing and his shit's flowing downhill. And God bless you.
Especially 2 hours in.
Fuck yeah.
God bless you is right.
Yeah, if you're still listening,
if you're still here, then
again, just like the last time, we got to the good shit at the very end. So
yeah.
I mean,
that's how I fill you in. I've been trained. No, I'm just saying. No, but that's the reality, and it's not about some mega fucking ultra alpha bullshit. That's not what it's about. Because I know some guys.
I said that to somebody one time. We were talking, and they work in an office and this and that. I think he was an accountant actually, and they're just giving you shit because you work outside. I'm like, who the fuck do you think built your office? Yeah. They were like, huh? I'm like, who do you think built your corner office? Yeah. Did you build it? Yeah. No. Yeah. Who do you think plumbed in your fucking special custom heated shower? You? No. Who do you think did all the digging? Who do you think did all the earthwork? Who do you think did all the paid? Who do you think built your office? And they were just like, oh. I'm like, yeah. Oh.
You're welcome.
You know what's going to happen is you know what I would love to say, I would love to do a social experiment where we just turn off the power for 2 weeks.
Oh,
just turn it off.
Panic. Sheer fucking panic. I'm going to tell you right now. Listen, I own a company, whatever, yada, yada, but I still live in a townhome. It's the smartest thing for me. I invest in my company, not in my, personal endeavors, right? So anyway, I watch the power go out here, and I watch the sheer fucking panic. You turn that power off and keep it off for 24 hours, bro, it's going to be, what's the name of that fucking movie? What's the name of that movie?
The Purge?
The Purge, yeah. Where they go out and start killing each other? 24 hours of crime?
I'm going to tell you right now. If you don't go out on your porch and lick off a few shots, you might get hit. You know what I mean? 24 hours, bro. People couldn't function without fucking toilet paper. Why are we forgetting about this? If we want to have this conversation, let's have it for real. Stop being fucking bitches. Stop. This is
I made my get ready with me for work TikTok as a joke, and it was get ready for all the influencers that do like my skin routine since everybody asked. So I was like, since everybody asked, and I did my whole morning routine, and it was just me saying fuck a bunch of times. I poured multiple cups of coffee, whatever. And Caleb Bauman was like, do people really ask? And I'm like, no, nobody asks us for anything until their water doesn't work.
Yeah.
But that's the reality of it.
Until their shit backed up into their shower pan or their bathtub full of excrement or their fucking water lines.
That I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I drive into Boston in an ungodly time. Like, no, nobody asks. The only time they care about us is when something doesn't work. And now all of a sudden we need,
until there's an enormous pond around where their curb stop valve box is, man, suck my
yeah.
You know what I mean? Listen, we're happy to do the shit that we do, but first of all,
love it.
First of all, let's keep this shit in mind. 3 years ago, you guys want to start talking about labels and all the rest of this shit. Let me know I wasn't essential. I drove a John Deere 544 motor from Ken Carroll and Pierce up to Haunted Equipment off
none of us know where that is.
It was 25 miles on the interstate.
There we go. Shoot.
Yeah, man. And what's ridiculous is people want you, they're like, oh man, my plumbing doesn't work. The other day, my mom had a renter. It was Sunday and her air conditioning went out and she's texting all day long. Oh my gosh, my AC's out. You need to get someone here. You need to get someone here. You need to get someone here. And my mom's like, it's Sunday. Ain't nobody coming to fix your AC on a Sunday unless you pay ridiculous prices, but it's like, then you get the bill. Like now that person comes Monday, Tuesday, you're desperate. You want them there. You're getting pissed because you're still not appreciating them because you're getting pissed because they're backed up because you're not the only person who's, in this situation. And so there's a line and then you finally get them there and then they give you a bill that's out the ass and they go, well, what the fuck is this? I can't afford this. And it's, well,
you wanted me here on a Sunday.
You wanted me here, you called and called. You wanted me here. You wanted me here. This, I've got a list a mile long. This is what I have to charge.
Yeah, no, and I get that, but I mean, here I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a minute. Maybe some of that goes back to not giving them the amount of transparency because we're worried that they don't want the service or whatever. I'm gonna tell you right now, I write change orders in the field, do you use that?
Oh yeah,
AWAs, additional work authorizations. I have them on my phone. I can take pictures of what we're doing that's additional and have the GC sign off on it right there. But what do I have to give them in return for their complete authorization on my AWA? I have to give them some sort of credible price. So what is that?
Yeah.
That's a yin and a yang. That's some transparency. They're saying, yeah, we understand that this isn't expected or this is an additional thing or it's going to cost this amount of money. We need to be transparent with them as well. If we're going to get into this shit, it's a whole other fucking ball of wax.
This is a whole other topic about charging.
Well, no. Change orders are a beautiful, valuable fucking thing. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you live and die by them, you look like a fucking chump. Means you.
Well, that's what makes the industry look
like
bad.
You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I hear that. Well, I hear people say that all the time too. They're like, are you one of those contractors that's going to give me a price and then it's change order me to death? No. And if you do that, dude, you're not going to be in business very long because you're going to get a bad reputation.
Well, yeah. They can get their own bad reputation, but you know what it feels like? I mean, I literally just took over a project for a company who I've never worked for, and they got burned so bad, they were asking for serial numbers on my equipment, shit like that, just to make sure that I was showing up with the appropriate size shit. So I took them a picture of my 290 with a 66-inch dig bucket, and I said, well, just let me do my thing. I'm sorry you're scarred. Let me rub your back. I'll whisper sweet nothings in your ear, but go away and let me do my job.
Well, and to tie back into your question, Zach, is why do we have this stigma? Why do so many guys in the industry decide, like, why is this the industry that people are killing themselves in? It's because of other shitbags. It's because there are other people who make your average construction worker look bad. There are people that screw people over. There's people that are assholes. There's people that are liars. And it makes all of us look bad, and we all have to face that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, guys, we've been rolling for a very long time, and I am hungry. And I am not at my house to where I can go and get a meal mid-podcast like Bryan.
It looks like the lights just went out on you.
Well, so last week after the show got over, our guest said it was Aria Morgan of Plateau Excavation. I don't know. She may not want her name affiliated with this podcast. But she goes, man, you guys' lighting in your studio is so good. I was like, well, that's the thing is actually there's no lights. It's just the natural light just peering in. So
there's that point. Down. There's that point where it's like good shit.
Yeah.
Maybe good. Sometimes maybe shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we do have lights. I just didn't turn them on because it was so perfectly lit in here whenever I first got here. But now it's sun's going down, stomach's grumbling, so probably time to go.
This will be your last meal, so I hope you enjoy it.
Yes. No, guys, it's been fun. I wish Erik could have contributed more, but obviously he was working and actually being a productive human in society.
Ew.
You know what that means, though, right?
He's getting paid.
Nah, we're doing this again.
Dude, we need to all get together in person. I mean, we really
do. Yeah.
We need to do
Denver. Everybody come to Denver.
Fuck you guys. Come east.
I'll pay for your lodging if you pay for your flight.
I'm not staying in your townhouse with your cat.
I'll pay for your lodging if you pay for your flight.
Dude, real shit. I'm
up
gonna
on
come.
Motel 6 on Colfax.
Nah, I'll
Be
stay with
sick.
your cat.
You guys
All
will
right.
be safe. Be 6 black hookers outside your room. Bye.
We'll plan our retreat. All right. See ya.